Good evening. Welcome to the Nick Shine Show. I'm your host, Nick. Thank you for being here. It's Thursday. It's the Thursday night Throwdown. I apologize for running late. Just watched some horrible youth travel basketball. I don't even get how it was very, very bad. Very poor. I don't think I saw 25 consecutive seconds of play without a whistle in 2 full games. It was bad. It was sloppy. It was the Jets for the last 15 years. Very, very, very frustrating. But I'm here. You're here. Let's get it started. It's the Throwdown. You know what we're going to play. Let me get to it. So many videos. Thank you, Gator. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick.
When the blitz comes, there's no one to block him.
It's 10 o'clock, get ready for the showdown. 9 toes down, Nick, ready for the throwdown. We proud Jets fans, we don't play with them pronouns. Best roster in the league, we playing with the pros now. They tell us slow down, call us delusional, call us losers as usual. But this season will be beautiful. Shotgun with you know who, but run it instead. Let Hall hit the hole hard.
That's what she said.
Ground and pound like it's 2010. The chat, we got many friends. Johnny wearing hats for super chat and watch him breathe again. Nick put the link so Bobby can call and speak again. Bonesy did the blunt, I got the weed and pens. We speaking green again. Jets news like it's CNN. A-Rod and Charles Gorman, it's like we seeing twins. Feeding tins, pounding on these bleeding fins. We 14 and 18 when they needing wins. They ain't seeing them. We run the ball and play defense. This is AFC hell where the teams repent. Ladies and gents, welcome to MetLife. This is Jet Life. We bleed green, this our best life. We just nice.
Let's say what's up to everyone. Dark Soldier's here. Johnny's in the house. Bobby. Mr. Bonesy's out on the prowl. Na-na. Jaden's here. 3 Siblings is here. Adirondack Fly Guy's in the house. Sith My Suicide is here. Rob B. Stack's here. Clancy's in the house. The lovely Leanie's in the house. Alan is here. Welcome, Addy. Dave Brigga is here. And Boomtown's the mic drop at the end of the show. He can't be defeated.
Gentry covered in football.
Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show. Dim the lights, but it's still bright as Nick time. Day or night, this is his promise, Nick Shine. Proud fan, well defined, so get in line. Toe to toe with any show, he only got 9. The best show on YouTube, bro, is easy. We talk Jets all day, please believe me. Subscribe, you just gotta click a family. We not a click in 3D. You can see a beautiful DP. We see through the fake teams and the tea leaves. So we pray for a coach and a QB and hope that we close to the top in the new league. A toast to the host with the most, Nicky. Who, me? Any day, any night, we all shine, bro. First class shine time, the Nick Shine Show. Anytime on YouTube, if you don't know, the Nick Shine Show, the Nick Shine Show.
Fantastic.
What's up? And perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Nick Shine Show. I'll be joined in a little bit by one of my very good friends, Mr. Dom C. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the salary cap ramifications that could happen. We're getting nerdy. We're getting super nerdy tonight. I love it. Some of you might, so join us. What we're going to do, I'm going to throw out some scenarios for Dom in a little bit. We're going to go over what it means for the Jets cap in terms of dead cap, opening up cap space, whatever. And then, of course, with Project Prospect with Dom C, we'll probably talk a little draft if we have enough time with him. So thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button. Super duper helpful for the channel if you hit the like button. We get to, it's normally 50, but the great Tom Ace said last night the benchmark is now 69 likes. I guess we have to. So hit the like button, Subscribe if you haven't. Super chats, great way to get your comment or question online. Memberships, they're popping. We should be 20 away. We lost a little bit from yesterday. We're 20 away from adding a new emoji. There is a new emoji. There is a Jet the F up emoji. Brand new. It's Coach Aaron Glenn with the Jet logo. K Brock sent that today. I was like, yo, can I use this on the channel? He's like, absolutely. It's there. Enjoy it. It's fun. We have a Coach Glenn and we have a Jet the F up. Oh, wait, we don't have the Jet the F up. It wasn't saving earlier. I stand corrected. Replace image. Bloop. What are we doing here? Why did you not save? Old man internet. Let's see. Save and publish. Emoji updated. Emoji not updated. I don't know why it's not doing it. I don't know. I tried. It's in the garbage, like he put our season. 6 wins, we would have had Rodgers emoji. Oh, well. Sorry. 6 wins, we would have had it. Supposed to have it by like mid-October, but, you know, didn't want to score on the opening drive, didn't want to score in the first half, didn't want to run the ball, had to change all the routes, basically just set it up for failure. So, never happened. Never effing happened. How we feeling about the general manager? I thought the other night it was pretty obvious we were going to have Lance Newmark. I thought it would be bang, bang. One breaking news after the other. But today, according to Rich Cimini, 18 minutes ago, the Jets had second interviews today with Trey Brown from the Bengals and Darren Mugi from the Broncos. And both GM candidates went home. Sounds like a decision will come tomorrow. Told you guys last night that we'll have one by noon on Saturday. We'll have our general manager in place. We want to get him in place before they go to the Senior Bowl. You want to get all of that taken care of. You want to get all your ducks in a row. You want to get the new regime in place. Get your meetings before you travel. Don't know much about any of these guys. I don't think many do, right? Like, you got to be super nerdy to know what these guys are doing as non-general managers in other organizations. So everything's going to be speculation at this point on who they are, what they're about, their vision, everything else. Now, I do find it quite interesting that Aaron Glenn and Newmark were there together, and it didn't happen with Newmark, and it happened with Glenn. Stories always come out, might not be within a day, but eventually all news leaks. It's New York. And if you're Diana Rossini, if it doesn't leak, just make it up. Just make it up. That seems to be her way. But I digress. Now, some of the questions that surround the Jets, once we have the general manager and the head coach in place, are as follows. What do you do at quarterback? What do you do with Devontae? Who fits the new schemes once you get your coordinators in place? Who are you letting walk? Who are you cutting? Who's retiring? All that and many more. We'll cover the financial ramifications in a little bit with Dom. But I will say this again. The 2025 Jets, I expect to look much different than the 2024. I don't think there's a lot of players being retained. We knew we had a lot of one-year deals. Solomon Thomas, Leaky Fotu, Sherwood was on his last year of a deal. DJ Reed, the safeties were all one-year deals, I believe. There's a lot of players. Moses, one-year deal. Tyron Smith, one-year deal. Lazard should be cut. Conklin should be gone. Ruckert should be working with his father on Long Island. The running back room might be the only room that stays the same. Quarterback room, probably going to be different, right? Now, D-line, I expect a huge, huge turnover on the defensive line. who we got? You got Quinnen, you got Will, you got JJ. Who else do you see coming back from the defensive line, ladies and gentlemen? I don't think Clemens. I don't think Solomon Thomas. Do the 3 walk-ons that we had this year, do they fit the mold of what the new regime wants to run? I don't know. Very unrare that three walk-ons make your defensive line. It doesn't mean that you found 3 gems. It also means what? It means that you didn't have a lot of good talent there. Because normally you have your position room filled and you don't need 3 walk-ons to make your team. So, linebacker. Does C.J. Mosley retire? Does Sherwood get a big offer somewhere else? Corner. Michael Carter, Sauce should be here. Stiggers will be here. Eccles free agent. Reed free agent. Safeties. Just change the whole room. Tight end and safety, 2 of our biggest questions for many years. Change the whole room. Mark, I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to upset you this early in the show. And I love Thursday nights because Mark's always able to catch the live show. And welcome to everyone who's here. I get a little flustered when I'm running behind. I don't like running late. But thank you for everyone for showing up. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you smash the like button. Wide receiver. Xavier Gibson's not an NFL player. Corley, he might be the Christian Hackenberg of wide receivers. Lazard, cut. Devontae Adams might not want to play here. Might want to go somewhere where they have a chance. Maybe him and Rodgers go somewhere else together. To be determined. A lot of big decisions need to be made for this Jets team. A lot of big decisions. And I'll tell you right now, no matter what the decision is, no matter what the Jets decide to do, I can guarantee you one thing. We'll be arguing over it. That's what we do. No one will accept what the Jets want to do. No one will accept what this new regime wants to do. We're all going to want the Jets to do what we individually want to do. But not me. Not me, I say. Big fella with a super chat. Thank you. I'm bringing back LT3. Agreed. I'm a little fast and furious with my thoughts right now. I think he deserves to be a part of it going forward. So 4 guys on the D-line. Quinnen, Taylor, McDonald, and JJ. Those are 4 guys out of 9, 10. 3 siblings with a 6-month super chat. I don't see anything underneath it. It seems to be blank. There's no writing there. Not worth reading. We shall not. But we are going to have some of the conversation right now. My guest is here. Let's hit the like button. Let's show some love. Let's bring in my good friend, Dom C. What's up, buddy?
Hi, Nikki.
How are you, pal?
I can't complain. Yourself?
Let's watch the worst basketball of my entire life. 7th grade travel boys, Woodbridge against Union.
Okay.
And I don't think 25 seconds of gameplay went without a foul. 7 kids fouled out. Everything was a foul. They trapped. They hacked. It was so horrible.
On both sides or just one?
Both sides. It's the generation. They don't know how to play the game. They're so worried about having someone make a shot that they'd rather just foul them. They don't know how to contest a shot without fouling. They don't know how to hedge. They don't know. They don't know. It's all about, can you make a 3 and don't get scored on. That's it.
I love it.
It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I'd rather watch 3rd and 4th grade boys on a Saturday morning. At least it's fun and they don't beat the crap out of one another. So, how are you?
I can't complain, man. I'm cold tonight. I'm cold.
Yeah.
It's cold in my
been a rough
office
week
today.
here.
So, yeah, no, it's I have my office kind of set up in part of our, finished basement.
Mhm.
And so it's a basement, so it's cold. But I have a nice space heater here that my 12-year-old has decided to transplant to his room.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm in the basement and I have mine going, and I started it at like 9:58, and I'm telling you, this room, I will get up at some point and just go shut it off because this little thing's only about 1.5 feet big, but it pumps, man.
Oh man. So what's a good word, my friend?
Well, let me ask you
Go ahead.
your thoughts, Aaron Glenn. Where was he on your list? Where was he in your projections? Was he a don't go that route? Where were you with Aaron Glenn, and where are you now that he is the 22nd New York Jets head coach?
I was 1,000% 10 toes or 9 toes in the sand, if you will, for you.
9 toes on the field. It is
yeah.
9 toes. The chat just gave you a golf clap. Just know that. Some of them even did it like, yeah, you got him already.
I will I've been on team like buck the trend. Give me an offensive minded guy. And there's reasons for it. It's not just because Aaron Rodgers or Aaron Glenn can't he can build an offense too. Yes, I know that. And Aaron Glenn, I think, has a chance to be a very, very fine coach. I do. He's got the makings of the coach and so on and so forth. For me, he wasn't the right fit right now. Now was the time for me to try something different. Like we're going to need a new quarterback soon. If not in 2025, very shortly in 2026, and therefore, yes, could Aaron Glenn bring in a good coordinator? He absolutely can. What happens to good coordinators? They leave, right?
Interesting thing, real quick. I saw today a thing on Twitter. It was the last year that every team had one of their coordinators stolen to be a head coach. Do you know the last year that the Jets had their coordinator poached for a head coach?
Let me think of this. Parcells? I mean, no, Belichick. Belichick, would that count? Would that count when he went from DC of the Jets to head coach of the New England Patriots?
No, because we traded.
No, Belichick. I said
we
Parcells.
traded Belichick to the Patriots.
Did we really? I don't remember that.
We got 2 first rounds for it. That's why we had the 4 first round picks with Chad and Beck and Abraham and Ellis.
No. So no, I don't.
1989 was the last time. I don't know who, but that was just a year. 1989.
1989.
Was it Weish going to Cincinnati maybe? And then he took Jeff Blake with him not too long after that.
I got no idea. So,
Dave says Bud Carson.
Okay.
Houston?
So
did he Bud Carson go to Houston?
I don't remember.
I
don't remember, man. I was a kid.
All right. I like to throw out propositional statements and let the chat do the research. It's kind of a thing.
Yeah.
I don't want
but yeah, getting back to Glenn, like my whole thing is that, we get it. He brings in the right coordinator and then that guy leaves. And it's a good thing if your coordinator is leaving, he's probably doing well and it's probably liked. I get that.
Yeah.
But I don't want to then, saddle a new young quarterback with a new system and hopefully find another guy. So I wanted my, offensive scheme to be content and set right at the top. I was willing to take a chance on a young guy. I'd rather have taken a chance on a young guy to do something different, buck the trend of what this first-time defensive coordinators, the head coach that Woody Johnson just seems to have a huge hard-on for. So no, Glenn was not at the top of my list. Glenn probably wasn't at the top of my defensive list because if it was going to be somebody defense, I wanted somebody with experience. But alas, here we are. So that's what I wanted, and am I content? Listen, I'm a Jets fan, and I'm gonna root for Glenn to be successful, and I'm gonna hope to God that my gut intuition was wrong. So that's where we stand. I think the rest of his staff build is going to be vital, of paramount importance. Yep.
Yeah. Big fella, thank you. Keyshawn was traded for 2 firsts that year. Belichick was traded for a first, and that's what gave us the 4. 2 from Keyshawn, 1 for Belichick, and then our own. Thank you, big fella. Appreciate you. To my twin.
That was my favorite draft.
Yeah,
I loved that draft. I remember exactly where I was watching that draft. I loved it.
I was at Poor Billy's in Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Yeah, I was at my friend just got his first apartment, and it wasn't even an apartment; it was a house. He and a couple guys rented a house, and we all just sat there and watched the draft.
Nice, good draft, great draft. You know, it set the foundation for the decade and a couple years making the playoffs.
Yeah.
So let me ask, how long do I have you for?
Until you kick me off, maybe.
I would never kick you off. That's why would you put
a half hour or so?
Don't put that on me, Bobby Boucher. All right, cool. Any surprise that the Jets didn't even interview or request Monken, Kingsbury? They requested Joe Brady, but never even got to the interview, right? Like
they didn't.
Why?
So I don't know this is factual, but it's my understanding from someone who does have, ear to the street and those good connections that I don't. So this is still hearsay.
Okay.
That that Monken and Liam Cohen specifically, and Kingsbury for that matter, specifically told them we're not interested.
Oh, wow.
So I don't even know if formal requests went out to those guys. They were the word came about they weren't interested. And then you look at like Joe Brady. They requested Joe Brady, and Joe Brady never even responded to him.
Oh, wow.
I never even heard that. While he took other interviews, New Orleans and Jacksonville and the Raiders, he never even responded to the Jets.
Oh, wow. I knew we requested him. I never even saw that come across, but I trust you. What do you think happens with Rodgers? Retire, cut, trade?
Listen, a month ago, I would have told you that there's absolutely no way in hell that Aaron Rodgers is back as quarterback for the Jets. I don't know if I feel as strongly about that. I don't feel like it. I don't know if I feel as strongly as that today as I did, back then. But it's probably the move I would definitely partake in. I think it's time. Aaron Rodgers, great year, statistically, but the objective failed, man. And if you're gonna start with a new regime and a new sheriff in town and everything, I'm of the belief that you probably got to drain the swamp.
I agree. I don't see a new regime coming in and selling to the Jets, hey, we have this great plan, but our plan is going to run it back with that guy that just only won 5 games. And I don't see it.
It's just that everything that
absolutely shocked.
Yeah, me too. In fairness, why I think it's a little bit more logical is because they did go to a defensive-minded head coach, who's really got to, install, him and Wilkes if Wilkes ends up being the DC.
Yeah.
They're tasked with really installing a whole new system with a defense that it's missing 5 starters and depth up and down the defense. So, you can make an argument that, Rodgers is the best case scenario to bridge that so that they don't have to focus on rebuilding the defense and figuring out who's going to play quarterback.
Okay.
But I just think that the juice ain't worth the squeeze, man. I don't.
Okay.
I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze.
All right.
Well, financially, it handicaps us.
Yeah. I see a comment says I host a Hate Rodgers show. I don't hate Rodgers. I just don't.
You actually love Rodgers.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah. I just don't logically see how a new regime is going to say a 41-year-old quarterback is our guy. We're not going to come in with a plan. We're just going to inherit a plan that didn't work and try to make it work. I don't see a new regime selling that to the Jets. I don't see why a fan would want that. I don't see why you fire the coach, you fire the GM, and then bring in a new coach and a new GM and say, we're going to keep the same thing that didn't work. Doesn't make sense. You would want to open up that money financially, and you want to move on. That's not hating Rodgers. It's doing the best for the Jets long term. Now, let me ask you, Dom.
Mm-hmm.
If Rodgers, what's the cap ramifications if Rodgers retires? Go ahead, hit me with that.
If Rodgers retires, it's a $49 million cap hit, which you have the option of taking in one fell swoop this year and being done with it, or splitting it $14 million in 2025 and $35 million in 2026.
So it gets worse as it goes on. Not even 35 to 14. It's 14 and then 35.
Yeah, but there's more to that, Nick.
Okay. Go ahead.
If Rodgers bonus option, if he's on the books, I don't know what the date is. I don't know if it's the 5th day of the year or sometime in April maybe. It goes to $63 million. So he's guaranteed his roster bonus. And then to get rid of him in 2026, it would be $63 million, which you could split $21 million in 2026 and $42 million in 2027. So
it would basically be a awful version of the Bobby Bonilla contract. It gets worse the longer we keep him.
Correct. So to make everyone happy, the people who want to bring Rodgers back because, he's probably the best viable option at quarterback right now in the free agency market.
In terms of playing, but it sounds like financially, it's an awful decision.
Yes. The only way to do that is to really, have him be willing to kind of, redo his contract to make it, somewhat, financially feasible, because this, as this contract stands, it ain't going to work. Okay. It ain't going to work at all.
Now, if Rodgers were to give money back again, does that create void years? Because I know when he gave the money back, that created void years on the 2 extra void years that they put in.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how. To be honest with you, I don't know the schematics of how that would work. I mean, he could just choose to rip up the contract and write, a new one, or they could adjust or reallocate the funds that he's done here. I don't know how the I don't know the in-depth makings of how that would work. I think they have the ability to terminate the contract and redo it, and
and you do that in the NFL? Because I thought guaranteed money was. I thought you couldn't do that.
I'm not sure exactly what the ramifications would be.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you can do a bunch of stuff. You can take some of the guaranteed money and create more void years. But again, you're just kicking the proverbial can down the road if you go that way. So, I don't know. Like, to me, and I know this is not the, not the common thought process, but I would cut bait if he doesn't retire, and just take my lumps and take my medicine now. Take all $49 million this year and deal with it.
Something I said the other day, and I think people need to really think about this. A new regime doesn't give a damn that we haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. Their plan is to start building from today and going forward. And they're not going to make panic decisions, and they're not going to make fan decisions, and they're not going to say, let's do what's best to try to end this streak. They don't give a shit about the streak. That's a fan thing. They care about doing what's best. If it takes 2 years, it takes 2 years. If you win instantly, great. Not every team does it. But the plan is to make this team a competitive, constant winner. Some teams like Washington can be bad at the right time. Jaden Daniels, verge of the Super Bowl. We get the number 2 pick, Zach Wilson, doesn't work out. We get the number 3 pick, Sam Darnold, doesn't work out. So when you're bad matters as much as if you're bad, right? Like, you can be bad and not hit. Yeah. There's no quarterback at 7 that we know or we think of right now that's going to change this franchise around. So we're going to have to put together a long-term plan to succeed. That might be building the roster the best we can this year, building the trenches, getting the secondary together, and then next year, just say we're going all in. We're going to trade up for one of the quarterbacks in 26, who I think are a lot better than this class here. Now, before we get to all that, I'm sorry. I'm excited to talk to you. Davante Adams, $38 million. What are we looking at with Davante and his options in terms of what's guaranteed, trade, cut, keep, restructure?
Let me pull up Davante's numbers. Hang on.
I think it's $38 million right now, but I don't know how much of it is guaranteed.
I'll tell you right now. So in 2025, Davante Adams has a $38.25 million cap hit. Almost all of which, except for $2 million, is base salary. So none of that, just his guaranteed money and his signing bonus, which is $2 million, just a shade under $2.1 million, and whatever other void years that would have are guaranteed. So you can get out of Davante Adams' contract with a dead cap hit of $8.3 million, and you would gain $30 million in cap space.
Okay. Oh, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, Ricky New York just gifted 5 memberships, and they went to James Parascando, Will Cedar, Patrick Aricchio Sr., Jets Life 11, and Robert D. Now, I don't know if any of you in the chat have noticed. Dom, can you show everyone your shirt? Because it looks like it says hard R on there. Oh, it is. That's perfect. Perfect. I'll explain to you later.
Okay.
Perfect. Look at that. You can't write that type of comedy. You can't write that timing. Dom, perfect shirt for the perfect moment tonight.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know the inside joke, so
it's yeah, you'll get it later. We'll talk. But Ricky, thank you. Ricky, I did see your comment earlier, and I promise you I'm going to get it up with your 8-month super chat. Thank you for being a member of the channel. And I absolutely promise you I'm going to ask Dom that question. What do you think happens with Davante? You think it's absolutely guaranteed he's with Rodgers? Rodgers is done. He's done. Rodgers is back. He's back. Looks like they had a lot of fun playing together this year.
Yeah, I think that they're linked. I think there's a possibility that you can possibly keep Adams on a restructured deal, considering that the guaranteed money is not too much. But more than likely, if Rodgers leaves, I think that Adams will probably go ring hunting. He's going to be 33. Yeah, he's going to be 33. So he'll probably go ring hunting, knowing that he's only got 1, maybe 2 more years left. So
can we trade him?
Yeah, I guess you could. The trade would probably the trading team or the team trading for him will probably want a restructured contract agreed to before they do a deal. Just like no one's gonna go through what we went through with Hassan Reddick. That's for goddamn sure.
I want to scrub that name from my brain forever.
So could we trade him? Sure. I don't know what kind of value you're going to get from him. You only paid a third. I mean, maybe you get a day 3 pick. Maybe you can get a 4th. I don't know. Something like that.
Great comment, Ricky. I'm not even mad. That's such a brilliant comment, and you're right. Successful. Good job, Ricky. So you think Michael Clemens makes this roster? You think they carry him on?
God, I hope not.
Right. I mean, if you listen to Ulbrich and Saleh, he's such a hard worker and he's so improved. How could you get rid of a legend crowd surfer like Michael effing Clemens?
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of interesting roster decisions. I think some of our favorite Jets or most hated Jets are all going to. There's a bunch of them that are going to be on the bubble. Like, I think it's safe to say we've probably seen the last of Solly Thomas.
Yeah.
I think
going back to San Fran with Saleh. For those
Yeah,
of you who don't know,
could
Robert
be.
Saleh today accepted to be the San Francisco defensive coordinator again. So
Mhm.
he's going back with Shanahan.
I think Saleh and Ulbrich both could poach some guys. I fully expect that Ulbrich and Atlanta, who is in dire need of linebacker help, are going to be very much in the market for Jamie Sherwood. I think that guys like Solly Thomas, whose contract has expired, so he's free to sign with everyone wherever he wants. But yeah, like the Michael Clemens of the world, the Jeremy Ruckerts of the world, all these guys that we expected more from, and really were like average at best players at times, are probably going to be on the chopping block. Some of them may stay, some of them are going to go.
Yeah.
And
Which
it's
is what happens when new staffs take over, right?
Yeah, and listen,
They bring in their guys like
yeah,
Saleh brought
absolutely.
in Solomon Thomas and others who were his guys, right? They found guys that fit their scheme, what they want to do. So for those of you that just think this new regime is going to come in and run it back, they're not. I do want to bring this comment up from Boomtown. Why move off of Rodgers to also lose Devontae and leave another gaping hole they need to address in the draft or to overpay in free agency? Use this draft to focus on our many other needs. Financial reasons is the main answer. Boom.
Correct.
They might want to get rid of that money as soon as possible to open up the books in year 2. Like New England right now has $132 million available this offseason. New coach, Vrabel coming in. It would have been year 2 of Mayo, but now it's year 1 of Vrabel. You want to get the cap open so you can spend, so you can attack. You don't want to carry on Devontae. You don't want to carry on Rodgers. Now, is it possible? Sure, absolutely. But financially, a new regime, a 41-year-old quarterback, an aging receiver, although he played well, I don't see a new regime wanting to financially attach themselves to these financial disasters.
Yeah.
Nothing against the players. It's the financial side of it, guys.
I also don't know if Rodgers is really here or willing to kind of take on direction in a new offensive scheme and learn a new offense where he hasn't had to do that for 20 some odd years that he's played, right? It's been Rodgers' show. Let's call it what it is, right? Yeah. Can you see the first press conference after a bad loss and Rodgers up at the podium, very snarky, saying, well, listen, that's the offense they want to run. And, you got
it's not the scheme I'm comfortable with.
14 guys running up the red line. And, you just need to, the decision makers are, really need to think about what they're doing. I can see that, and who needs that?
You got to add this line in there too. There's not a comfort level with this scheme. I've been in this league a very long time. There's a lot of comfort, and that's not the direction they want it to go in.
Yeah.
You're not the direction they want to go in, and I think everyone needs to accept that. I would be floored. Absolutely floored.
And the rest of the guys that I talked about on the chopping block, the Clemens and the Ruckerts and all that stuff, like, listen, let's call what they are. Let's call them what they are. They're depth pieces that really, they're replaceable pieces from a team that went 5-12, 7-10, and 7-10.
They're misses.
Yeah,
they're misses. They didn't pan out. They didn't get better. If anything, they regressed.
And coaching has a lot to do with that. Let's, again, in fairness to them, they didn't develop. They didn't develop players. The offensive line regressed under Keith Carter these past 2 years. There was nobody on offense that was ever really, put in a spot where they can progress their skills and become something. You saw some on the defense. You had your, Tony Adams came out of nowhere and became a starting safety, and what is he? He's a average at best starter in the league. Probably a depth piece. You saw it with Ashton
Davis. I always say about the New York fan.
Mm-hmm.
New York fans get obsessed with homegrown talent. We see it in baseball, basketball. If you draft a guy, they all want that drafted guy to go on to be the next greatest thing in the league, and it very rarely happens. But I think in New York, it's a crazy obsession. Shane Spencer had a great 3 weeks. Jeremy Lin had a great 3 weeks. These names live in infamy in New York because they gave them a couple nice moments.
Yeah, well, Nick, you also see, I mean, listen, you know what you know, right? And the fans are very comfortable with the players that they know. And I'm sure, a lot of people think Jeremy Ruckert is better than, so on and so forth from Tennessee because they don't know who that guy is. They know Jeremy. Yeah. They know who Jeremy Ruckert is, right? Yeah. So it's it's, you kind of get comfortable in your own warm, shitty diaper. It's time to take that diaper off, wipe that ass, and move it on, man.
Nice. One last question for you. For those of you watching, 71 here watching, if you haven't already, hit the like button. We're with the great Project Prospect with Dom C. I will share his link in the chat. If you haven't already, you're missing out. It's where I get all my draft info from. We are going to have some draft questions coming up. Super chats, great way to get them on for Dom. And one last thing in terms of the cap, CJ Mosley. Where are we financially if CJ retires? Are we better off cutting him? I can't see them going with that.
CJ Mosley is an interesting one because that they've restructured that deal enough where you're going to have to bite the bullet at some point. So if he retires or if he's cut before June 1st, a pre-June 1st cut, it comes with a $16.4 million dead cap hit and a net loss of $3.65 million. You gain no cap relief. You actually lose 3.6 off your cap.
Okay.
The post-June 1st designation would come with an $8.7 million dead cap hit in 25 and a $7.6 million dead cap hit in 26, but you get $4 million worth of space to play with in 25. So there's there's not a lot of wiggle room there. If he retires, the Jets are going to have to eat that money. If they choose to move on from him, you can split that into 2 years and it's not great, 8.7 and 7.6, but it's, at least you're making some of it. You're getting $4 million in cap savings. You get $4 million more to spend this year.
All right. So not much relief. Looks like another awful contract.
It was an awful contract that McCagnon signed him to. And then
compounded it, right?
Then Douglas restructuring it over and over just really, really compounded an awful contract.
Thank God he sat out the COVID year and made the contract even longer for us. So thanks. Way to be great leader. Ricky New York Live, instead at Snowball, Ricky New York Live comes in with his 8-month super chat. Thank you, Ricky, for being a member of the channel. Dom, Will Johnson, Nick Emanwari, rounds 1 and 2. Your thoughts?
Love Will Johnson. My third overall ranked player in the class. He graded out third out of all the, I think I'm about 180 guys that I've scouted and graded. I think he would fit the scheme, the new scheme that, very, man heavy scheme that would come in with Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilkes. I love the way he's got ball skills, unlike Sauce. Like, he goes up and he gets the ball.
Clarify, golf ball skills or football, like intercepting? What sport are we referencing here, Dom? Got to be clear for the chat.
He plays with anticipation. He's got makeup speed when guy gets a step on him, so on and so forth. The big question with him is he missed the majority of this past season with a foot injury. Now, it hasn't been made clear what the injury was. If it was like, one of those Lisfranc breaks or sprains or something, high ankle or whatnot. But, he sat out 7 games. And then, right before the playoffs started, college football playoffs, they just said, yeah, he's not going to come back this year. I'm sure at that point, he just cashed it in and said, you know what, let me get healthy and get ready for the combine. But yeah, I love Will Johnson. I think he's a phenomenal talent. He's gonna be a player in the league for sure.
Right.
Nick Emanwari he's unique. I mean, I don't think the second round is, he'll go off in the second round. The question is, he's going to be a different kind of fit. And I don't know in a Wilkes defense if his role or his skill set is really going to play.
Okay.
Big guy, 230 pounds, 6'3", built like he's bigger than Jamin Sherwood. In a solid scheme, he's the guy that you transition and make a linebacker.
Okay.
And he for a big guy, he can still run. He's a physical specimen. He, like I said, he's built like a linebacker, but
Can he cover?
Freaky athletic. Coverage isn't his strong point.
Okay.
He's got ball skills. He's gotten, he's a downhill player, hard hitting type of, that type of safety, Steve Atwater type of safety first, but he's got some ball skills.
So is he?
He's developing. He's developed a lot through his collegiate career in coverage, but still a lot of work to do. He's a little stiff, being a big guy like that, muscular. He's a little stiff, so he doesn't, flip and run real quick. So I could see those
Lamar Landry-esque.
Yeah, I could see those shifty or fast.
What was it, Lamar or LeVar?
LeVar
Landry. Okay.
Yeah. No. LeVar. I was thinking LeVar Arrington. Lamar Landry, you're right. But like the change of direction stuff doesn't work. Like, I could see him being hosted by, speedy, shifty, fleet of foot tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. Like that's just not his strong point. So he's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, just that skill set, that type of old school, big kind of box safety isn't everyone, now everyone.
Thank you, LaRon Landry. Thank you.
LaRon Landry. There you go.
Yeah. And Nate, big steroid guy.
now everyone wants their safety to be versatile. There's a lot more two deep shells playing post safeties. I don't know if that's really Emanwari's, cup of tea.
Okay.
So could he be? I think he'll go in the second round. I guess it'll really depend on what happens with, who they want to bring in, who comes in free agency, which one of the Detroit guys come over, all that stuff.
All right. Let's play a little draft game.
Let's shoot.
Let me give you breaking news here. The Jacksonville Jaguars to hire Liam Cohen as their head coach.
Yeah, that whole thing was crazy, man.
That it went from Robert Saleh getting ready to get on a plane in New Jersey to go down and sign the contract to Liam Cohen basically stealing the job out of nowhere. So interesting.
Well, did you hear? Do you know the scoop on what happened with that?
I don't. Please fill me in.
All right. So they had targeted Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen were their number one and number two, like without a doubt.
Okay.
Ben Johnson spurred him and went to Chicago. So, they're all in on Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen goes for the interview and comes back from the interview and then withdraws his name, says, you know what? I'm withdrawing my name from consideration for the Jacksonville job. I'm going to stay here in Tampa. Tampa offers him a 3-year contract to stay on as OC, in which he was going to be paid the highest paid offensive coordinator in the league.
I saw that news come out. He never
with one caveat. He never signed the contract. With one caveat in the contract that he couldn't go on any more head coaching interviews. So when he spurned Jacksonville,
was that this offseason or the length of the deal?
That was yesterday.
No. Do you know?
No. I'm sure it was this
offseason.
This
years you're done.
No, this offseason.
Okay.
So he spurned Jacksonville, and the rumor is that he didn't want to work with the Jacksonville GM. Trent Baalke has just a horrible reputation. So they couldn't get any coaches in there. Ben Johnson didn't want to go there because of Trent Baalke, and now Liam Cohen didn't want to go in there from Trent Baalke. So what does Shad Khan do yesterday? He fires Trent Baalke, and he called Liam Cohen directly. This is factual. He called Liam Liam Cohen directly and said, reconsider. I'll allow you to be in the process. In essence, you can pick your own GM, and I will pay you Ben Johnson's salary. So behind Tampa Bay's back, he hasn't signed the contract yet. They can't get a hold of him. He sneaks down, goes to Jacksonville today, finalizes everything today.
$13 million a year, like Ben Johnson got?
$13 million a year. Yeah.
Any,
So
did Aaron
they
Glenn's contract come out yet?
not formally, but I did hear from someone who is in the know. It's upwards to $10 million a year. Saleh got 6.
5 years, 50.
Yeah, Saleh and Joe Douglas both were paid $6 million apiece.
Okay.
They had the same exact salary. So
All right.
they definitely increased it. And it probably didn't start at 10, but from what I understand, they bumped it up to 10 so that he wouldn't get on that plane to go to New Orleans.
Okay.
So it probably
right.
started around 7, I would say, 7.5, and they needed to pay up for to keep him in essence in the house. Don't let him leave the building. Well, he left the building, but the deal was already consummated when he left that building. He was probably going home to work on his staff and get his family together and talk to his wife and this, that, and the other thing.
It's the agent negotiating time. I said Tuesday night on the show, like it's agents doing work now. Yeah. He's got the job. It'll be announced by. They said
before he left One Jet's driving the interview that he had already told them that he accepted. He'd take on the job as the head coach. So
good. All right, let's do a little draft either or. I'm going to throw some names at you, and let's see what you would do with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Both players being available in round 1. Mason Graham, Abdul Carter. Go.
It's not even a question. Abdul Carter.
Number 1 player in the draft for you?
Number 1 player in the draft. He's the number 1 player in the draft for me. I think he's a special talent.
Queen on a chessboard, right? Like if you
and I know that
you like the blitz, man.
Whatever you want to do, you want to play him down, you want to play him up, you want to let him roam, you want to give him that Joker status where he can go wherever he wants. There's no one as athletic, there's no one as twitchy of an athlete. He's physical. There's the Abdul Carter. That's not even a question.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Mason Graham or Tet McMillan?
Tet McMillan.
All right.
They're close on my board. Tet McMillan's 7 overall, Mason Graham's 9, but I'm not the biggest. I'm not going to say I think he's a good player. Obviously he's not on my board, but Mason Graham to me isn't what the social media and the public thinks that he is, and that's just my opinion, guys. That's not, I urge you, if you think, don't go by what I say, watch and make your own, come up with your own ideas or deduce it however you want. That's just my opinion. I don't know if he's the can't miss prospect that he's being made out to be.
All right. Let's stick with it. Let's see how far down. Mason Graham or Will Johnson?
Will Johnson.
All right. Interesting. I like it. My guy from Georgia, Mikal Williams or Graham?
Graham.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Mikal Williams is, if you said Jalen Walker, then it's a much bigger discussion. I think I might take the upside of Jalen Walker over Mason Graham even. And a lot of this also has to do, guys, or Nick or whomever.
Walker to me is that linebacker that you can build the defense around. Like,
and he can rush. He can rush off the end too. There's the play speed that he plays with is just ridiculous. And a lot of this isn't Mason Graham hate. This is more respect to the depth of the defensive line prospects in this class. You're going to be able to get a really good player in rounds 2 and 3.
Ricky, New York, live, coming in with a super chat. Savion Williams, round 2. Dom, thoughts?
Not for me. I could get why people really like him. Physically, 6'5", 230. Quick, very, very good with the ball in his hands. He's got the ability to separate. He's a 50-50 guy. But I think he's a little like I said, outside of the contested catches because he's too big. He's a little too gadgety for me. He's not, even at that size, he's not like your traditional wide receiver. He plays a lot like, he's a versatile guy. You can play him in the backfield. You can, you can play him in the slot. You can put him in motion. You can give him jet sweeps and so on and so forth. That's all fine and dandy. But, it's another guy coming from a school that just used him like a very, very limited route tree. He can run, quick smoke screen, quick one-step hitches, and he can run goes. He might be able to run a slant. Not very good hands. He's like a poor man's. Actually, I shouldn't say that because that might be too much of a compliment. I was gonna say he's like a poor man's DK Metcalf, but I don't even think he's nearly as good as DK Metcalf. A 10% drop rate for a wide receiver in round 2.
Oh, Jet.
Yeah, we've done that.
He'd be our best Jet.
We've done that with Denzel Mims. We've done that with the other cat we took in the second round out of Ohio State way back when. Devin Smith. I'm good. All right. But he's gonna draw, people are gonna look at the measurables and the athleticism, and he's gonna draw a lot of interest. But he's a project, man. He's a project.
All right. Now I'm gonna pin two guys against one another here. I want a big fatty on the D line. Yes. And I want massive defensive tackles. Now, these two guys just fall short. I want 6'4", 315 and above. These guys are just short of that at 6'3". But Kenneth Grant or Tyleik Williams? Nice. I like when I get you like that. Good.
So it's funny. All right. Tyleik Williams graded out for me better than Kenneth Grant. I have them 34 and 35 on my board. Tyleik Williams is the 34th ranked player. Kenneth Grant is the 35th. I would probably lean Kenneth Grant for one reason. I think that there's a better shot that you can get more production. I think Tyleik Williams right now is truly a 2-down player. He's an early down guy. Could he develop into more? Yes. Okay. I think he can. But I think Kenneth Grant offers right now a lot more as a pass rusher, even though that's not his forte. I think he offers more as a pass rusher right here, right now.
All right. I like it. I like when I get you with one of those.
Yeah.
Nate coming in with a super chat. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you. Good, sir. Thoughts on Jahadi Brown? He seems to play man well for safety, which I like in Glenn's D. Mm-hmm. Is Fannin Jr. an impact player or more boom or bust? And do you see Deion Walker or Restrepo making it to us to 38? You take that. I have to pee. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. But all yours, Tom. Answer this. I'll be listening.
Jahadi Barron, great player. A little small, little lacking in that straight line speed. He's not the fastest, but just like a really, really good, true football player. He started as a safety, moved last year to the slot, playing just in the slot, and then this year played on the boundary. So, very versatile. I agree with that. He's scheme versatile. It doesn't matter if you play a zone, if you play a man. I think Jahadi Barron can do that. Jahadi Barron, skill set wise, is very similar. I could see him used as like the Brian Branch that Aaron Glenn had in Detroit. I don't think Jahadi Barron's as physical as Brian Branch and as good of a tackler at the in the box or at the line of scrimmage. But I love the versatility in a guy like him, and I think he could fit very well in Glenn's D. Fannin Jr. is wonderful. He's a great player. The big question is going to come with him is playing out of the MAC and playing at Bowling Green, how he really handles, big time that next step, the next talent level. So he's got the means to be an impact player. I don't know if he's an inline tight end. I think that he's, probably in your mold of the kid in Buffalo. I can't think of his name. Dalton Kincaid. I think he's more in line of of Evan Engram, where they're truly receiving threats first. But man, Fadden Jr. is super, super talented. He catches everything, man. He's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I'm just curious to see how he plays against top end talent. And Deion Walker and Restrepo, I think, will both be at 38. I don't see them. Deion Walker actually, I just got the Senior Bowl measurements for a lot of the guys, and Deion Walker measured in at 6'7.5", 355 pounds.
I want him
with 35-inch arms. And the positives for Deion Walker is you obviously we all know.
I want him. I want him in round 2. I want massive defensive guys.
Yeah,
I can't deal with this little finesse shit anymore.
Here's the funny part, Nick, is that there's a chance Deion Walker at 6'7.5", 350 pounds
isn't done growing.
Runs sub 5 flat, like runs in the 4.9s. Yeah, like he's athletic like that.
Wasn't that
as big
Lawrence on the Giants, or was that another defensive lineman who caught a guy 40 yards downfield, a running back?
Yeah, he is. The first step is just like so quick, so what you don't expect for a guy like that, that big, But he's got big boy problems. He loses the leverage battle a lot. So and this year, I don't know if he played hurt, but he was so much better last year, so much more disruptive last year than this year. So yeah. I think, and Restrepo is a guy that I think that, you can find those slot specific guys later in the draft. You don't have to spend second round capital on them.
All right.
Where do I see Jahade Barron going? Jahade Barron can go as high as mid to late first round. Probably the floor is somewhere about mid second round. Which I think is fair. I could see a team like Washington, who's picking late in the first round, hone in on him. I think he'd be a great fit in Atlanta. That might be like where his ceiling is, and that's what, at 15 or 16. Okay. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to predict where these guys are going to go. We haven't gone through the process. The draft season's really, really, in NFL terms, just kicking off, and
free agency hasn't, right? You're not game ready yet. You're starting to stretch and you're starting to loosen up, but you're in the stadium at this point now. I'm going to throw the projection of where.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go.
I was just saying the projection of where these guys are going to be drafted is really tough to land now.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable saying, he can go anywhere from mid first to mid second, but like. And I can tell you what teams I think he's fit on, but who knows what's going to happen between now and April.
All right. And I'm sure we'll discuss it much more. I'm going to throw a couple names at you. A guy that I keep my eye on, and it's a round 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's big. He's explosive, and he's big. Shamar Stewart, edge from Texas A&M. I know everyone talks about Nick Scorton in round 1.
Yeah.
But give me your thoughts on the other A&M edge, or compare the two of them.
Listen, I love Nick Scorton. I think he's severely underrated. He's, whether it was at, where he started in Purdue or Texas A&M, he just kept getting better. I mean, I think he had, he had over
big. Scorton 6'4", 280. Stewart 6'6", 291. Those are different than a Will McDonald. Totally different types of players.
And the funny thing is they play really, really different. Nick Scorton, and I'm going to use this in Jets terms because this is a Jets show, and the correlations will be easier to identify. I think Nick Scorton is a better version of JFM, where he is going to be a really he's strong. He's got bricks for hands. Doesn't let defensive linemen get into his chest. I think he can, he plays really, really sound run defense. He can he'll set the edge really good. A guy that you want in there in short yardage situations, like, no play or no situation is too big for him. Sneaky good as a pass rusher, still developing a pass rush bag, has done a lot with just, he's got length, so he does a lot with that long arm technique where he rushes and, and transfers that power, kind of bull rush. Not very refined in terms of pass rushing, but I think he's going to be a guy that can play 3 downs and, might not be a consistent double-digit sack guy, but he's going to be a hell of a defensive lineman. Shamar Stewart, on the other hand, is different. At 6'5", 290 pounds, the guy is an athletic freak. He's long, powerful. He's got Bryce Huff level, like, explosiveness in him. He's another guy. He's a big motor player. He never gives up. But he's still very raw. And some teams aren't going to like a guy that big on the edge, especially a team, let's just say, an even front wide 9, scheme. He's not the guy that you want to have out there as Will McDonald rushing, right? So, and some teams are going to think that his build and his play strength will be better suited inside as a defensive tackle. So, he's kind of a tweener in there. He doesn't, he's not as strong against the run as Scorton is, doesn't have the same anchor. So, they both have strengths and weaknesses. I think Scorton is a hell of a player. Scorton's my 3rd ranked edge. Shamar Stewart's my 8th. Shamar Stewart's not in my top 50. Scorton's in my top 15.
All right. Here's another player I've taken a little bit of a liking to. Give me your thoughts on Trey Harris.
Trey Harris. There's a lot to like about Trey Harris. Think Cortland Sutton, big, long, boundary receiver, ridiculous arm length, ridiculous catch radius.
Compliment to Garrett Wilson, right?
Yeah. Ridiculous catch radius, catches everything. I mean, that guy legitimately catches. He's got like highlight reels for hands. That guy, if you throw it his way, he's going to catch it. He's good with the ball, and it's, once he has the ball in his hands, he's a big guy. He's well built. I'm not gonna say he's the biggest. He's like 6'2", 6'2.5", probably about 210 pounds. But he's proportionate very well. So he's got heavy hips, and he's hard to bring down.
Am I crazy that I see at the same age of Devontae Adams? Am I crazy that I see like a young Devontae when I see him and his highlights?
I think Devontae is a little bit more
young Devontae, not 34. Young Devontae coming in.
I think Devontae Adams is a little bit more defined and nuanced as a route runner. I think Devontae Adams is definitely has a little bit more precision in his route running, and I think Devontae Adams definitely has a little bit more agility. Listen, this guy's going to be, like I said, if he turns into Cortland Sutton or Michael Pittman, or a poor man's Mike Evans, because that's what I think he's going to be. Trey Harris isn't going to burn. He's not going to blow the roof off of Indianapolis at the combine. He's probably a mid 4.5 guy, 4.6. Not going to be the fastest. Not going to run by guys. But he's your prototypical X receiver. Do you remember? You obviously remember Kenny Golladay. Kenny Golladay with Detroit, the player that he was.
$72 million deal with the Giants, and then like get a touchdown in like 26 games or something.
So I think that's like, that could be like, the type of production you can expect from Trey Harris.
All right. Big fellow with a super chat. Thank you, sir. Nick, if you want a fatty, take Omari Thomas late. I'm not familiar with Omari Thomas.
From Tennessee, yeah.
I should have known with the big fella. I should have known. Shame on me.
I don't know if he's that big. I mean, I haven't gotten measurements for him yet. If I'm mistaken, big fella, you can quote me, but I think he's just over 300 pounds, right? Um, I know that Tennessee played him next to Norman Lott a lot, often, I should say. Omar Norman Lott. And Lott would play more of that 3 tech. So I guess that Thomas played more of the inside. Again, another guy that I think has the size that that can withstand anywhere up and down the line from outside the tackle, the 5 to all the way down to the 0 or 1 tech for the nose. Another guy with great first step. It's a little tall,
Pro
6.
Football Network has him rated at the 576 player overall right now.
Yeah. He's a little bit tall. So he's got those big boy problems where, as a defensive lineman, when you're taking on, big linemen, especially double teams and stuff like that, you need to win the leverage battle. And I think he loses it a lot. I don't know if he offers that much in in terms of, pass rush skill set. So, you're probably looking at an early down guy. I got a 5th round grade on him. And that's just mid to late day 3, somewhere he'll fall in there. I think he'll make a roster. He could be a guy that struggles or battles for a 53-man spot early on in his year, but I think he's got the physical makeup and the size and the length that teams covet inside.
Okay.
So I think he'll make a roster.
All right. And this is the last question I have for you. If anyone in the chat, if you're here, hit the like. And once Dom leaves, if we have 69 likes, we'll drop the call-in link. You guys can call in. If you have a question for Dom and we haven't gotten to it, super chat it. A great way to get it on air for Dom. This is the question I think a lot of people might be thinking. Mid-round, new regime. They're probably going to take a quarterback at some point. Who is your do not touch this guy? And who is that's a guy that I would be happy with, like a mid-round flyer?
Mid-round, we're talking.
Mid. 3 and on.
Okay.
Right? 3, 4, 5, I consider mid-round, right?
The
6,
guy,
7, 8, 1, 2 is early.
The guy I would probably say the biggest name that people know, the name that I probably wouldn't touch is Dylan Gabriel from Oregon.
Yeah.
Former UCF quarterback. Listen, statistically, out of this world. And, Bill Parcells had, he had a checklist that he wouldn't even consider drafting a quarterback unless they met certain criteria.
Did you share that tweet today?
No, I did not. And outside of the physical stature of it, the statistics is everything that Bill Parcells looked for on a quarterback, right? 3-year starter, at least 30 wins in college, touchdown to interception rate of 3-1, 75% completion percentage. Dylan Gabriel touches all those, Problem with Dylan,
75% completion or 7,500 yards? I thought
75% completion percentage.
Okay. And then extends plays, right? That was the other one on there.
Yeah. So Dylan Gabriel touches all of those. Problem with Dylan Gabriel is 5'10", and he's a lefty. So you don't take that into consideration, but you build a team with a left tackle and a right tackle, and your left tackle protects blind side. A lefty, you got to throw everything throws it all off. Right. So there's just not many 5'10" quarterbacks that make it in the NFL, right? Drew Brees, anomaly. Kyler Murray, quasi anomaly. Not Russell Wilson is 5'11". So, there's just not many of them so that's a guy I'd probably shy away from. The mid-round guy that I'd probably, hitch my wagon to is Syracuse quarterback Kyle McCord.
Okay. I had a feeling.
Listen, he's just a really, really, old school kind of traditional pocket quarterback. He's got solid arm talent. It's not the strongest arm.
Bino, the comment, Parcells' famous quote, "I hate lefties."
There you go. he is he's got solid arm. He's not nearly the strongest arm, but mechanically, like pristine. Quick release. His mechanics are there. The guy's a winner. He plays with composure. He plays with moxie. He throws a really, really, really catchable, really pretty ball. Lots of touch, layers it over defenders if he needs to.
Okay.
Throws receivers with anticipation. But again, he's he's a limited athlete, so he's a pocket passer. He's not going to offer you much outside the pocket.
All right.
Had some history of playing a little too much hero ball. Put the ball in the harm's way too much. That doesn't bode well for pro quarterbacks. Interceptions are going to be plentiful. So, but if you're taking the dart throw on a mid-round guy, you have a fourth round. We have a late third. You have a fourth round pick. You want to use it on a guy that you might be able to develop. Yeah, he's one. Do I think he'll ever be like an all-pro starter? No. But do I think you can get a viable backup and a guy who can come in and win some games as a good game manager? Yes, absolutely. Kyle McCord.
Okay. Ricky, New York, live again with another super chat. Thank you, Ricky. Ryan Fitzgerald, late.
Ryan, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you, Ricky. I'm pretty in tune with a lot of these guys, and Ryan Fitzgerald is not ringing a bell. So I'm going to assume that I don't know who he is. That means I haven't watched him, so I don't have an opinion.
He's a quarterback. He's not even on Pro Football Network's depth chart at all.
Listen, I have 17 or 18 quarterbacks
kicker
deep. Oh, there you go. That's why.
Florida State kicker.
I got no opinion on kickers or punters. Sorry, bub. I just don't. I haven't watched them. I got enough to do.
I like it. All right, I'm gonna throw a name out there at you.
Yes,
this is the last one.
Yes,
I have been saying I need a bigger, more physical offensive line.
Okay,
and for me and my liking, I think Elijah Vera Tucker is too finesse, and I would be in favor of bumping him out to right tackle and getting a monster and a mauler and a big guy inside. Mm-hmm. Give me your thoughts on round 2. Wyatt Millum from West Virginia.
I love Wyatt Millum. Yeah, I love him. He's in my top 20. He's my third.
That high?
Yeah. He's
okay.
His film he's as technically sound of an offensive lineman as I've watched. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Graham Barton probably was a little bit more technically sound, I thought. Who went in the first round last year.
Yeah.
Wyatt Millum is a close second. He's got the size. He played tackle at West Virginia.
Yeah.
He allowed 10 pressures and 1 sack in his entire 4-year career. No sacks in the past 2 years. Also had less than 10 penalties all throughout his career. Just a really, really good football player. His problem, like you said, I think, it's not that I know. I mean, I know a lot of teams aren't going to place him outside on the tackle. They're not going to place him on an island. He's got sub 32-inch arms, meaning he's got legit T-Rex limbs.
Okay.
But when you talk about a guy that can come in and displace defensive linemen and anchor down really solid, always playing with his head on a swivel, mechanically, fundamentally sound from the ground up. Wyatt Millum's the kind of guy that comes into the NFL, is a day one starter, and has a 12-year, decorated career. I just don't think it's going to be a tackle. So yes, to your question, Nick, first off, I'm all on board of moving AVT outside, and a guy like Wyatt Millum would be a dream. There's tons of guards in that fit that name, and I'll give you another name, another guy that I really like. I'm a lot higher on than consensus.
Can I guess?
Go ahead.
Tate Ratledge?
No.
All right.
No. I do like Tate Ratledge, but that's not the guy I'm talking about. Out of LSU, Miles Frazier. There's a couple of offensive linemen from LSU that everyone raves about. Emory Jones, a right tackle. Will Campbell, their left tackle.
Yeah.
I think Miles Frazier, their right guard, is was probably the most dominant of all the offensive linemen, and that says a lot because those are really good players. He's about 6'5". He's about 335 pounds. He reminds me, and you know how much I loved J.C. Latham last year.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
he reminds me of J.C. Latham. The way he can anchor and re-anchor even when he's getting lost or getting pressed back. The way he just demolishes guys, at the line of scrimmage. He's a bowling ball as a pulling guard. He's got everything that he's really big. He's big. He's long, 35-inch arms. He's got really big hands with a great latch. He's strong. Everything that I want in an interior lineman, Miles Frazier has.
Okay.
It's going to be slow. He's going to be a 5'4" guy, which is going to push him down the board. But he's a guy that I'm again, another top 50 guy for me, graded wise. I don't think he'll go that high, but he's a guy that you talk about a fourth or fifth round pick to find, kind of find your needle in a haystack. That's Miles Frazier for me.
Right. One other guy, small school guy. Now, we talk a lot privately. You know that I'm a guy who has the mindset of I want guys from big schools, big programs, played in big games against big time opponents. Give me your thoughts on Clay Webb from Jacksonville State.
Funny. I was just talking with somebody about Clay Webb because one of the guys I know in the draft circles, he went to Jacksonville State. He was a Jacksonville State offensive lineman.
Okay.
So he and I were chatting about Clay Webb. So he's very undersized. Like he's going to be under 290 pounds, which doesn't bode well for him. Yeah, doesn't.
He's
it's
listed
not going to
6'3", 311 on Pro Football Network.
Yeah, he's not.
All right, never mind. Then I'm out.
No, and that's fine. As a matter of fact, I can tell you exact because I got his. He was at the Hula Bowl, if I'm not mistaken, and now he's going into the Senior Bowl. I think I have his actual real measurements right here. No, I don't. I thought I did.
Okay.
I got his hand and his arm length, which is, he's got 9.25-inch hands and 31-inch arms, which is fine. Both are fine for an interior offensive lineman. It's not, not great, not great, not outstanding. It's kind of, average to below average. Listen, Garrett Bradbury from Minnesota made a hell of a career for himself as a undersized center. Clay Webb will have to do the same thing. Clay Webb, I don't think is as athletic as Garrett Bradbury. Doesn't move in space, so there's going to have to be a team that's willing to take a chance. A team that runs wide zone concepts where they can get him out in space and into the second level. I just think that he's fighting a really, really uphill battle. I think he's draftable. I just don't know with his size coming in, sub 290 pounds, how many teams are going to be willing to take a chance. He could be developmental in the sense that you draft him late or as an undrafted free agent and you give him a year or two in the weight room and just try to add some mass to him.
Okay.
But a fun player nonetheless. He dominated his, down there at Jacksonville State.
All right. Big fellow with a super chat. Dom, where do you see Cooper Mays going? He was a rock and a leader for Tennessee, but is older, really solid center.
Yeah. Good center, good player. I think the age and I think some of the athletic limitations in Mays is gonna limit how high he goes. I would be shocked if he goes before day 3. And it might be towards that middle to end of day 3, like, 5th, 6th, 7th round. But yeah, he's a guy that I think, I don't know if he's plug and play. I think he's a guy that, older prospects, those ceilings usually are a lot lower. But I think he's got the skill set. I think he's got, solid hand. I think he plays with really solid hands. Good footwork. He understands leverage. He understands how to wall off guys. Again, he's a real cerebral kind of guy, and you want your centers to be that. So he could work himself into a low end starter, pretty quickly. Question is I just don't know, he'll be 24, 25 years old by the time the season starts. I don't know if the team's giving him a second contract. So he might be a one and done kind of guy.
All right. All right. We have 80 of you here watching. Hit the like button. It's free. Helps the show. Helps everyone else out in the YouTube algorithm say, hey, this show is good. It's worth watching. And it's the best thing you can do while you're here. Besides argue with Nate in the chat. I recommend everyone do that. It's always fun.
Nate's a man, man.
Nate's my boy. He constantly heckles me, so I have to give it back to him.
Yeah.
All right. Can I ask you one last question? I know I've said that 4 times, but I'm going to keep one last one until you tell me that's it. Jets are on the clock, number 7.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the guy that might be top 10, but the guy that you're saying, oh, no, if we draft?
Like shit?
Who, like, don't draft him. I know he's ranked high, but don't touch. Like, who's the guy that you're looking at in that top 10 that could possibly be there at 7? And that you're like maybe top 12, right? Because we could go for a different, like, for me, it's Will Campbell. Like, I don't want Will Campbell. Like, I know he's rated highly.
Yeah. I'd probably say, honestly, I know I've said his name a bunch today, but I'd probably say Mason Graham. I'm not going to say, shit. I'm not going to say, oh, shit, because he's a good player. But, because he's a good player. I just think that his skill set really doesn't align as a compliment to Quinn.
He is a Quinnen type, right?
I think he's known to be explosive. That's hit or miss. But yes, that type of penetrating style of 3-tech play that Quinnen Williams already gives you. I think that's what Mason Graham is going to bring to the table at a much lower level. So for me, it's not necessarily a disrespect to the player himself. I'm just saying situationally in the top 10 to get a guy so similar but not as good to a guy that you already have and are paying $25 million doesn't make sense.
So we already have the guy that does that. You would be upset about taking another guy instead
who's not as good at that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I like it. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
All right.
So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm good with questions. You guys have any more super chats you want to throw up for the great Dom C? I'm going to get your while I'm getting your page and sharing it and making everyone go subscribe to it. When do you leave?
Monday morning, 7 a.m. I am headed down to Atlanta and hopping to pick up Jeremy somewhere in Atlanta when he lands, and we are hopping in a car and driving straight to Mobile. It's about 3.5 hours. I know it's about 3.5 to 4 hours, barring traffic. I'm sure with Jeremy, there's going to be 14 pit stops because he's going to see food that he likes on the highway. Did I tell you about our last trip down there? So we're driving.
I would definitely Benadryl him.
Yeah, we're driving.
How long is that?
From Atlanta to Mobile, it's like 3.5 hours. It's like going from my house to Wildwood. It's nothing. It's nothing crazy. It's one highway. It's literally Route 40 straight. It leads you straight into Mobile. But we were driving home from somewhere from downtown Mobile. We were there doing some interviews with some of the players last year, and we're driving. And all of a sudden, he's like, "Stop!" And I'm like, I'm slamming on the brakes. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?" I thought I was going to hit a kid or something like that. He's like, "You got to turn around. There's a Whataburger over there." I'm like, "You motherfucker! You're like a Whataburger." So
I need pictures of his meals. I need pictures of the refrigerator at the house. Is Dylan with you guys too?
Dylan is coming down. He's flying separate. He's doing his own. He always flies into Florida and then catches a ride from Florida, gets a car from Florida. So listen, it's going to be a busy week. A lot of action. It's a really stacked lineup that Jim Nagy's put together for Senior Bowl. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, just like the 3 years prior to this one that I've gone, I'm able to get a lot of good intel, solidify some of my guys in my rankings, be able to provide more, draft related content to those who ever want to listen. You
Yeah.
can come, I put some stuff out on my channel. I got something something bigger in the works. I don't want to announce anything yet because I don't want to jinx it from happening, but good things are coming in regards to my content.
Awesome.
A much bigger, much better platform.
Really?
So yeah. And I'm always around.
Isn't enough for you, you son of a bitch?
Yeah, this is a pleasure. Anytime I can hang with my buddy for an
Always.
hour.
Yeah.
But like, listen, man, I'm always willing and I'm always able to hop on here and talk shop with you or anyone. You guys know where you can catch me. I do, shows with Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7 on Mondays, talking Jets draft show. I'm with Green Bean starting after I get back from Senior Bowl. We will start again the 10 o'clock mocks, which is always fun. And then me and Gunny and Green Bean do a show on Thursdays, Thursday thick of it, from 8 to 10. So
Now, Dom, we've asked you a lot, but Oscar the Grouch comes with a very, very important question here at the buzzer. Have you seen Nick Stout?
I've seen the before and after Oscar.
We saw the during the healing process. If you don't think I was sending that photo to Jeremy, Dom, Buffalo, Gunny, Tigo, and Adam, Y2K, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't even awake yet, and I was sending pictures. Yeah, so they've seen it. Dom, thank you.
My pleasure,
Have
man.
A safe trip. Oh, wait. One last question. In terms of Jets or potential for the Jets, who's the player you're most interested in speaking with next week and watching and getting to know? Might be a later guy, but who's your guy that you're like, I want to find out more about this guy, the human and the player?
So in terms of the Jets, there's two guys that I'm going to watch like a hawk. Actually, there's a couple guys. I'll give you I can answer this. This is up my alley. There's two safeties that I really like in this class. And I think safety's a big need, and knowing that Steve Wilkes is coming in and how much he emphasizes smart like active safety play. He uses safeties in disguise coverage all over the place. They got to be versatile. They got to blitz a lot. I'm very interested in seeing or talking to Andrew Makuba out of Texas and Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. They're both going to be at the Senior Bowl. They're both, I think, can play that versatile split safety role where they can play at the post. Right. They can play single high. Makuba can definitely play even a little bit of slaughter in the box. I don't know if that's Watts' strong point. Watts might be a true, as we refer to, a true center field type. But those are guys that I'm going to have my eyes on. Those are guys that I'm hoping to be able to grab and talk to a little bit. But like I said, I gave you one name of one of my the Dom C guys in Miles Frazier, the offensive lineman from LSU. There's a couple on the defensive line. There's a kid that I think is fucking amazing. Darius Alexander.
Yeah,
Darius Alexander, small school kid, Toledo, 6'3", 330 pounds. He moves like a cat, strong. We talked about Mason Graham and how I don't know if that fit next to Quinnen Williams is ideal. When you watch Darius Alexander play, you watch him eat up double teams. You watch him, hit centers and guards with false jab spin moves like Will McDonald. And then you watch him pick off the ball on screen passes and run in for big man touchdowns. Like, that's my guy. I can't wait to see him there. Remember that name, too. I'm telling you, Darius Alexander. Okay. He is going to be one of these guys. There's a couple guys that I think once the Senior Bowl's done, there's always a couple names that buzz. Darius Alexander, defensive tackle from Toledo, is one. There's a couple wide receivers that I think are going to be really good down there, too. But yeah, Darius Alexander and the two safeties are probably the three guys that I'm really, really, really interested in finding out more.
Okay, nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I appreciate you as always, my friend, and we will talk. We will text, and I'm looking forward to hearing about your week and the players that you've attached to and got to talk with, and all the cool stories that come along with this entire process. I live vicariously through you.
I'm lucky enough to get some time with these guys and spend 5 or 6 minutes talking to them. Like I said, like last year, you remember, Nick, like I came back talking about, man, this small school kid, Isaiah Davis, like he and I had the best conversation there when we were at the Senior Bowl, and he ended up being a Jet. I thought that was pretty cool. So there's, but like you get 5, 6, 10 minutes with these guys, and I think I put together a good 25, 30 interviews last year that I put out. So
Nice.
It's good intel, it's good content, and all that stuff. It makes for a really fun trip. So
well, I know you're going to be in very high demand when you return. If you wouldn't mind, carve out an hour at some point. And like I said, anytime you want to come on here and talk, you text me and say, hey, you got a spot for me? And I will.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this. You got my word. When I get back, we'll definitely do that to talk the prospects and Senior Bowl. But I'll also come back once, we'll talk about once Glenn's staff's, formulated, so we can kind of get into the weeds with that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe run into Aaron Glenn down there.
I don't think he's going to be down there, but
no,
you never know.
Scouting background, dude. Listen, scouting background. His first time as a head coach. You don't think?
Yeah, he's going. His press conference is Monday, so
yeah,
he would. Listen, he can still come. Listen, there've been coaches down there, like I got the big, I got the big FU cold shoulder from Mike Tomlin, who wasn't a pleasant gentleman last time. But there's tons of coaches down there. There's tons and tons of front office personnel. I doubt Glenn's gonna be down there. But you never know, I guess. So
never know.
Yeah.
Scouting background, maybe get to know you trip with some of the other staff members and the GMs and the scouts.
He could fly in for Tuesday or Wednesday. He could fly in for Tuesday or Wednesday. I mean, it's not out of the realm, but I don't think so.
I got you. Solid chose to stay back a couple times, right? Oldbrook went down there and ran it the one time. And it'll be interesting. But if he's there, I hope you get a minute or two with him to talk to him. And I'll obviously look forward to that. So, Dom, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man. Thank you, everyone in the chat, dude. It was fun just chopping it up, man. Anytime.
Absolutely. You got a home here whenever you want, pal. Talk soon.
Buddy. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great Project Prospect with Dom C. How can you not love Dom? I'm going to tell you what I love. I love all the musical creations by our good friend Blitz BK. And we're going to play, it's Thursday. We got to play the Throwdown. I'll be right back. Enjoy. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick.
When the blitz comes, there's no one to block him.
It's 10 o'clock, get ready for the showdown. 9 toes down, Nick, ready for the throwdown. We proud Jets fans, we don't play with them pronouns. Best roster in the league, we playing with the pros now. They tell us slow down, call us delusional, call us losers as usual. But this season will be beautiful. Shotgun with you know who, but run it instead. Lad Hall hit the hole hard.
That's what she said.
Ground and pound like it's 2010. The chat, we got many friends. Johnny wearing hats, but super chat and watch him breathe again. Nick put the link so Bobby can call and speak again. Bonesy did the blunt, I got the weed and pens. We speaking green again. Jets news like it's CNN. A-Rod and Charles Gorman, it's like we seeing twins. Feeding tins, pounding on these bleeding fins. Week 14 and 18 when they needing wins. They ain't seeing them. We run the ball and play defense. This is AFC hell where other teams repent. Ladies and gents, welcome to MetLife. This is Jet Life. We bleed green, this our best life. We just nice.
Let's say what's up to everyone. Dark Soldier's here. Johnny's in the house. Bobby. Mr. Bonesy's out on the prowl. Na-na. Jaden's here. 3 Siblings is here. Adirondack Fly Guy's in the house. Assist My Suicide is here. Rob B. Stack. We're back. This is the part that sucks with taking insulin. You take insulin and all of a sudden your body has to drain. Let's bring in Mr. Red Hot Chili Pepper himself, Nate.
I just put a fresh batch down.
Nice.
Oh
That's
shit!
what she
She's
said.
wait. Oh wait, I can't tell where she is now. She's at the hotel. Bro, I just caught her. It's not her, but another lady who was just fucking letting her dogs pee on it, and she was like, "No, I believe you." And I was like, "Yeah, can you be more considerate?" And she was just like, and she just fucking gave me like a little like head shake. Well, I'm gonna find out where this lady lives. She's crossing the street right now. And I'll leave some of my fresh hot urine in front of her shit. Both her dogs, bro, little scumbags. Oh my god, she's going back north. This might take a while. She's doing a whole loop.
All right.
But yeah, nice job by Dom C. He really knows this shit.
Yeah, he's.
It takes me like days to look up shit about two players, and he just like any player you bring up, he knows everything about it.
Yeah, and that's what I like. I love playing the "Can I stump him?" and then he's just you can't. Like, I love it. I remember in October when we lost a couple games in a row. He's like, "Fuck it, my time to shine." He's like, "That's it. Season's over. Here we go."
Yeah, absolutely. We're all looking to rebuild with our first and second round draft pick. Yeah, he does a good job.
That's it. Yeah,
All right.
Always a lot of fun talking to him. All right, you be safe out on the streets. As much as I love video evidence of you following people, I'm going to check back in with you in a little bit, all right? All right, there we go. There's what Nate just left. Throw it at her. Crazy. All right, next up, Ricky, New York.
How's it going?
All right, you tell me, my friend. Thank you for the super chats and the memberships as well.
Not a problem. I worked an insane amount of hours the last couple of weeks, so I actually had a really big check, and so I had a couple extra dollars, and I thought I'd put them to a good cause.
It's very good cause and very, very welcome. Thank you, sir. But I do have a thing when someone gives 5, and forgive me for being so late to the game with it. I just gifted one. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. Because it got flagged yesterday. Stupid shit. Give me a second. What's your thoughts with Dom?
You know what?
You had a lot to say during that.
Oh yeah, I liked a lot of what he had to say. You know that I liked what he had some good points, and you know, the receiver kid that I was talking about, you know, yeah, they didn't use him as like a conventional receiver. They used him more like a Cordarrelle Patterson. You know, he had a bunch of rushing yards, like 6 rushing touchdowns. But what I liked about him too is he was like a quarterback in high school. So they actually had him on like a toss play where he threw the ball and he threw a touchdown. And it just reminded me of Brad Smith. And I'm thinking, yeah, I could see that like on special teams, even fake punt. And then here you got a kid, you know, who, that could throw the ball. But he's really exciting. And like, there's going to be a lot of people that said, you know, receiver that you can use like a running back. Well, like Dom said, he's good at the big 50-50 balls because he's a big physical kid. But he's got quicks and you can run him. And a lot of people say, well, Corley is the same kind of guy. We got Corley. Dude, Corley's not 6'3", 225. This kid benches 350 and dead squats 600 pounds. He's a friggin' freak, dude.
Yeah,
and,
nice.
you know, I just was thinking like, you know, we're not going to spend money on like a T. Higgins or something. If Devontae's back, it's probably his last year. So why not get just a freakish kid that can do all kinds of stuff to put in behind him? And
we need better weapons, right? Like when you look at Corley and you look at Gibson and you look at a wide receiver depth chart, it doesn't scare anyone. Like if Adams does move on and go elsewhere, you need playmakers. And we can't just say we got to get a first-round guy because we need so many first-round guys. We only have one. We have to be able to find talent in late round 3, the early round 4. I think we go 92 and then 107 as of right now. We're like 15, 16 picks apart. We
Right.
got to be able to get those guys. Real quick, I want to welcome Molan Labe, if he's French. Gifted a membership because you gifted 5. So thank you, Ricky.
No
And
problem.
welcome, Molan.
And the thing with the Ryan Fitzgerald comment, I was kind of messing with Dom a little bit because I know he's a Gators fan. And I think he was messing with me back when he said, never heard of him, because he obviously knows who FSU's kicker is. They play each other every year.
Yeah.
But, dude, the kid, I mean, we could use a decent kicker. He was 100% on field goals last year. Had like 58 and 59 yarders, and he's at the Senior Bowl. So if Dom really doesn't know him, he'll be meeting him soon. So, but yeah, after last year, I'm thinking at the ass end of the draft with our very last pick, why not roll the dice on a good kicker?
Nice.
You know,
well, we know he kicked a lot of field
kicker.
goals because I don't think they scored any touchdowns this year, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. He was definitely the leading scorer by a long margin. No.
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. What are you doing?
I got her spot, bro. She lives right next to my place.
Prostate exam?
Something like that.
All right.
Cavity
we'll check
search?
back in a little bit. We'll check back in. I don't want to be a part of a crime anymore. So I saw him prop the phone up and start putting gloves on.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, this could go a lot of different directions right now.
We got a story coming out from Schefter right now. As one person said about the 2-day saga that saw the Jaguars lose their GM, the Buccaneers lose their OC, and Cohen accept 2 jobs, one that made him the NFL's highest paid coordinator and another to become Jacksonville's head coach. I've never seen anything like it in my life.
That is crazy.
You know what? I am so happy we are not a part of this story in any way, shape, or form. Like, how many times does crazy shit happen and it's the Jets attached to it?
You know what's funny is, like, I missed like the first 10 minutes of your show because I was on the phone with a buddy of mine.
Bastard.
What one of my best friends is Steve, the guitar player from 6 Feet Under, like for any death metal fans. But me and him were talking. He's actually helping me write some music for my project. But at any rate, you know, he's a Buccaneers fan, and he was just going on and on about how he's glad Cohen was staying in Tampa Bay and glad he was going to be here for the long term. And obviously he hadn't heard the news yet then. And I got off the phone with him to get on your show. And then when you guys said that, I was like, oh shit, he's going to be livid. He was literally just, I mean, went on this long thing about how glad he was that Cohen was staying here, and looks like he's not. That's crazy.
Nice.
That's crazy. You know what? Crazy things have happened that it's not, honestly, it's nice to see it happen to somebody else, you know, not like when the Jets thought they had Anthony Barr and then he left, or like way back when the Jets thought we were going to sign Antoine Winfield, and then he like literally leaves our building and goes and signs someplace else.
Anthony Barr. We agreed to terms with Anthony Barr during the tampering period, and then he went back to Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Winfield and Barr both left us and both ended up in Minnesota. So
yeah.
Yeah,
Jet It Out. Thank you for the super chat.
Makes me not like the Vikings.
Jet It Out says, what do you guys think about Chad Pennington, QB coach? I love Chad Pennington. I think he's a first-class person on top of everything else, and that's somebody you want mentoring, teaching, and molding players at any level. I just don't know if the NFL coaching is for him. I'm not against it, though. I'll say that.
You know what? I've thought that for years because, you know, Parcells used to always say that Chad was by far the most intelligent player he had ever been around, and his dad was a coach. So, like, I always thought that, you know, and like, didn't he coach like his son's high school team or something at one point?
Yeah.
I would think he's been coaching at that level, but for whatever reason, he's never moved on to college or the NFL or anything. However, like early this morning, I was on Twitter and I saw a tweet from Victor Green that says, I haven't talked to AG yet, but if he calls, I'd love to go and coach and help me, turn this thing around. And so I responded to him and I said, tell AG we want Kevin Mawai for OL coach. And then about an hour later, I looked and Victor Green had liked my reply.
Nice.
And I was
He
like,
engages a lot with the fans. He doesn't
Yeah,
have. I've DM'd him, and we've spoken privately on Instagram throughout the years, and Twitter DM too. So he's really good with getting back to the. He doesn't have a huge following.
I have too. I messaged him on Twitter one time, and I said, like, I know you worked in the Buccaneers front office for a long time. Like, if you're still in the area, you should come out to our Jets fan club thing for one of the games. And he messaged me back and he was like, okay, lunch is on you. And I was like, yeah, anytime, dude, anytime. Right. But yeah, he does engage a lot. But in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, God, wouldn't it be funny if the two of them did talk and he just happened to mention that? Dude, I want Mawai to come here and be our O-line coach so bad. So bad.
I just want somebody competent. I'll take Mawai, but I just want somebody competent.
Man, the way that he played, the attitude, and I think that he would get that nasty out of our guys and put that attitude in our guys that they need to have. Dude, I loved him. Remember Mawai mic'd up when he manhandled Zach Thomas in Miami and he was talking shit to him after every play? We're going to keep doing that all day. Oh, fucking dude. I mean, I want our offensive line guys to be like that, man. I met Kevin Mawai at the Hall of Fame when Curtis Martin got inducted.
Nice.
I was upstairs, like, just looking at all the different busts, and I went to turn around, and like right at eye level, there's this big armband tattoo, and I was like, "Oh, I know that tattoo." And I like look up, and it's Kevin Mawai.
Awesome.
And his wife actually took my camera and took a picture of the two of us standing there together in front of all the busts, and it was awesome. I told him to his face, I was like, you're the best pulling center style guard to ever play the game of football, ever. And he looked at me and he said, shh, there's all these Steelers fans around us, because there were like 3 Steelers guys getting inducted that weekend. And like half the people there were Steelers fans, unfortunately. But yeah, man, I want Mawai to be our O-line coach so bad.
I'm very curious to see, by Sunday night, we should have some of the staff formulated, if not all of it. I'm looking forward to it, and I know it's Thursday. I don't have Nick this weekend, so if some news hits, maybe I'll come on tomorrow night or even Saturday night. I don't really have anything planned Friday or Saturday, so I got to work during the day. Tomorrow night, I got to work basketball on Saturday during the day. But other than that, man, I'm open. So if news hits, I'll wait for Jake to die down, and then I'll pop on. But Ricky, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you. Thank you again for the memberships and the super chats, and look forward to getting some of the other names that are on your list as we get closer to the draft. Be good, my friend.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've hit that time of night. What did we learn? What did we learn today? I learned that we could still do an almost 2-hour show and talk all football. So golf clap to all of us. Somebody earlier in the chat, Chris said this is the longest we've discussed football on this channel in a very long time. And we were like 40 minutes into the show. I think he was commenting in the chat. You guys were on fire tonight. I know I don't get as many of your comments on air when I do have a guest on that I'm interested in like that, but I do appreciate you guys for being here, hanging out, and contributing to the show the way that you do. So what did we learn? We had some good football talk. What did you guys learn today? Not really any off the rails comments. So this should be a good football version of what did we learn today. I'm just gonna go right to Boomtown then. If you guys don't have anything, ladies and gentlemen, Boomtown, if you would tell everyone what you learned today. While I'm waiting for you to post that, if you haven't already, hit the like button. We hit 104 likes on last night's show, so shout out to you guys again. Thank you. The goal is 100 likes on every stream. We don't get there every time, but big enough crowd tonight. Hopefully we can. Throw a thumbs up on the way out. It's free and it's awesome. Don't you want to be awesome? Who wouldn't want to be awesome? Jets are going to be awesome. I'm not saying when, because you guys keep receipts, but one day the Jets will be awesome. And you could say, hey, my thumbs up helped it. Boomtown, I learned youth travel basketball quality has close similarities to Jets football. So bad. Penalties. It's horrible. No discipline. Dom C lives with a heater thief. Dom C can't be kicked off the show. Dom C rocking the hard R sweater was peak irony. And I didn't know how I was going to tie that in. But when Ricky gifted the membership, I was like, now I got my loop. So thank you. Sometimes you get comfortable. Bonus. Sometimes you get comfortable in your own shitty diaper. Nick likes stiff clothes and stiff women, according to Tom Ace. A 3.5-hour drive with Jeremy sounds terrifying and lengthy. 3.5 hours is going to turn into 6 hours with all the food stops. Double bonus. Many content creators have seen Nick's missing toe. Nate caught Karen peeing. Nate equals 5 Ps. Persistent, patient, purposeful, persevering, and petty when it comes to revenge. Triple bonus. Unsure if Nate was preparing for surgery, a rectal exam, or a ding-dong ditch type of prank. Awesome. 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 Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to that time of night. Like I said, tomorrow night, if news hits, we get some coaches, we get a general manager, you could see this pretty face again. But right now, we have another update from Nate. Oh, boy.
Like, should I smear it?
Nope.
Should I spell my name?
Yes.
Put
Put Rob V.
What's done is done, and with no mask on. Come find me, bitch. She's gonna slash my tires. I know it's gonna cost me a flat, but
Adirondack.
I gotta get my point across.
We have Poopgate 2025. The year's first conspiracy is coming live from Upper West Side, New York City. Nate, the biker, going around and puts poop on front doors.
It's their poop. It's not. It's the dog's poop. It's all over the place. It wasn't hard to find. All right. Well, hopefully she'll learn her lesson.
So if you have,
her neighbors.
All right, let me go back to 1920s. If you have no beer tomorrow, is that because you're on the run? You're on the lam?
Yeah, call me. What's his name? Luigi.
You should
Mangione on my e-bike. I'll get on my e-bike, go through Central Park. You'll never find me
call
again.
your e-bike the lamb. That way you're always on the lam.
I like it. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
All right.
Thank you for the super
Sound
chat.
like I'm going to get warm.
Appreciate you.
Wash my hands a little bit. Double wash, 60 seconds maybe.
Yeah. Watch your feet when you're walking. You don't want to step another poop
Oh,
bombs.
don't talk to me about feet. Thank you. Peace out.
Good point. He's got a good point. I hate when he makes a valid point, but he made a valid point. So, ladies and gentlemen, I did not see Rick Kent in the chat at all today. Did I miss Rick Kent? Is he here? All right, I can't play that without Rick Kent. Charles Gorman, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, all you shiners, it's time for something cool. I'm here to do my part. I'll drop a stinky fart. No chicken soup for you. I'm gonna eat it up. And then I'll do a show and talk about the Green Hornet. I got a new laptop, you know.
Breaking news! Jake Asman with a super chat. Sauce, Bobby Midnight is boycotting the Jake Asman show over hashtag Day Brigagate. Midnight snapped at Asman after he was asked questions about the wild fight. come on the show. You want to discuss it, Jake? I'll stay on if you want to click the link, if you want to join. I called him today after watching the snap tonight. Tried to reach out, try to use some common sense, try to help him, but I don't know. He wants to live in an angry world. I don't know. Thank you for the super chat, though. If you want to join. I'll play the videos. If you pop in, we will discuss it on air. But ladies and gentlemen, if Jake pops in, the show must go on. But if he doesn't, thank you for watching. It's a little teaser now. You're going to watch the videos anyway. So now you're going to be curious. Does Jake pop in? Does he not? Have a good night. God bless. Say a prayer for the Jets. Aaron Glenn and co. can get us our goal. Thank you for watching. I am your host. Thanks for watching the Nick Shine Show. Good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Throwdown. I'm your host, Nick.
When the blitz comes,
That's how you get results.
Ahoy.
How are you, sir?
You know, I just got back from a night out. I'm enjoying a slice, and I was tipped
Sbarro?
off. Yeah, very authentic New York slice from Sbarro's. Absolutely.
Yes, there is. Good choice.
Thank you. And you know, I received a tip from someone in the know that Robert Woodruff is boycotting the Jake Asman show due to the events that transpired this afternoon on my second show today. And I didn't get a chance to see your show, Nick. I know you've been on for about 2 hours now. Did Bobby call in? Did he address this? Have
No.
you heard anything from your sourcing on the boycott from midnight?
No, I did talk to him. I'll tell you, I spoke to him earlier, and he was raging.
Mm-hmm.
And you were still on when I called him. I was like, Bob, I'm like, anything in life that angers you to this level, I'm like, you got to eliminate. Like, you're not like healthy. Like, it's every day you're sitting there and you're getting outraged over anyone who mentions your name. I'm like, who gives a shit what Joe Schmo XYZ in the middle of nowhere says when he mentions your name? I go, and you live by just staring at the chat, waiting for your name to get mentioned, and you'll go on Jake's show as soon as he goes on, and you're like, 37 minutes ago, this motherfucker mentioned. Why? Why do you want to live like that? Like, if it's not bringing you joy, take a break. So I don't know if you could indirectly blame me, but I did tell him, like don't do anything in life that doesn't bring you joy. You know, and he was mad at you, and I was like, you know, Jake means well with you. He's he's a fucking, you know, he's going on his rant.
It's
I'm
the
like,
Allen influence. Allen has gotten to him. Did you see the comments today? He was like, Allen was
did
going.
it. It's tough for me to watch. I pop in when I can, and you know, I show you love when I can, but I can't view the whole thing.
No, Allen. I forget what he specifically said, but basically being like, "See, Bobby, you know who the real bully is," and I'm like, "Wait a second, Bobby, don't be influenced by Allen. What are you talking about?"
I saw the comment when he dropped the G word.
Yeah. He's like, yes, it's the ginger. I'm like, that's an Allen line. He's been influenced.
Well, see, I say the G word. You say it because you are one, so you can say it. Those are the rules. I was texting.
Is ginger? That's not an offensive word, is it? Am I missing something?
No. I'm correlating it to other words that are affiliated.
Yes.
If you are one, you can say it.
That's
like,
been a topic
handsome.
on my show
I can
as
say
well.
the H word, handsome.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So
yeah, I don't know, man. He might be boycotting the show. This is some real controversy we're gonna have to deal with.
He can't.
Now he can't go more than 2 days without the show.
With hearing his name mentioned, he's too addicted with YouTube. Listen, this is all shit I've said to him, so I'm not talking behind his back in any way, shape, or form. But he's addicted to YouTube. There's no other thing going on. He's going to watch every second, waiting to be mentioned, and then he'll get boiled over and he'll call in. He won't miss multiple shows. I will bet anything.
I just don't know why he got mad at me in the first place. He was like appalled that I asked him, "Hey, wait, you and Dave Brigger are good after you guys were going at each other for 30 minutes to the end." Like, it's a very logical question. Many people probably were unaware they resolved their
Yeah.
issues. Like, it's crazy.
I don't get it. I don't get I don't know. You can't make logic out of it, man. I feel bad. I do, because I'm someone who lived a very miserable life, and I brought that misery to a lot of other people, and I eliminate all of that shit now. And for the most part, I'm pretty happy. Like, but I got rid of anything that fucking brings me down. If someone brings me down, like, or brings me shit, dude, you're done. Like, completely done. So I feel bad that he's in a situation where he puts so much time and energy and effort into all the shows, and he's not enjoying it. Like, why would you like let that be your hobby if you're that miserable by it?
He's unfortunately become very, very jealous of some of the other like Asmaniacs or
The
Shiners
cash
that bring
cow
in.
comment said it on the phone to me too. I go, what do we care?
Yeah, he's upset that like Beast is like the flavor of the month right now. But anyone who's watched the show the last 3 years, like every caller has like their run where they're in the spotlight, and then there's new storylines that develop. And Bobby's upset, I believe, that he's not the center of attention constantly
I
like he
agree.
had been for weeks at a time.
I agree with you 100%. And it's jealousy, it's territorial, this is my call-in show, like I'm the star, and
Yeah.
there's new flavors of the month. I don't need to tell you about your show, but there's flavors of the month. There's flash in the pans, and then there's
It's
Bobby,
wrestling.
who's
There's
a
different
constant.
storylines. Yeah, you get
Yeah,
it. It's all pro wrestling.
absolutely. But Bobby is Hogan in the 80s. He's the champ. He's there, and there might be the Ultimate Warrior who pops up, and Savage and Andre, but at the end, it's still Hogan.
I do love that Beast Breaker and Bobby have a friendship. That Bobby's dug in and is on Beast's side now. It's hilarious.
I know. I almost want to go against Beast just to see what Bobby does. Like oh shit. Like I want to create something to see where he draws his line. Or like you and me go at it and see what he does.
I am fascinated to see how tomorrow plays out, because this source is very close to the situation, and Bobby Midnight has told people in his camp that he won't call in anymore, so we'll find out.
You got a call from Mikey?
Let's just say the source knows Bobby for a long time.
Bobby for a long time.
Maybe cuts his hair once a month.
Bobby does not get his hair cut once a month.
2 months, 3 months, 7 months.
You're speaking to Desiree?
She may or may not be my source, Nick.
You didn't know that I know the stylist's name, did you?
Honestly, if anyone would know it, it might be you.
Months ago, we found Desiree on Instagram we had when the Discord was in its baby stages, the Shiners got together and we figured out off of Instagram who cuts Bobby's hair.
That's incredible.
Clancy was there, Boom, and others in the infant stages of the Shiner Discord. We put together who Desiree, a hairstylist near Brattleboro, Vermont, would be. So
it's impressive. I also heard from another source close to the situation. This person is not a Bobby Midnight fan. They were so offended by Bobby's conduct today that this person said they will go out of their way to, quote, hold Bobby Midnight for weeks to come. So I think we just scratched the surface of the potential drama that could be coming. If Bobby does call back in and tries to be contentious again, this could be a real war on our hands between Bobby and the Asmaniacs, to a point where I've heard some saying they would love nothing more than for Bobby, if he is a 1 seed in the tournament, to basically be a 16-1 upset, Virginia going down to whatever that school in Maryland was that beat them a couple of years ago, whatever that was.
I had a scenario that I threw out. A Mikey against Bobby round 2.
So we were thinking, what if Mikey, because he doesn't call enough, is he in the field of 68? Does he get in the playing tournament? He wins, and his first matchup is a round one against Bobby Midnight. And then how would the chat vote in that scenario?
I tell you what, man, I love Bob. You know that. You love Bob.
He's become polarizing though, Nick. It's the Allen impact.
He's polarizing, and I feel it's almost if the stardom has gone to his head, and like he thinks he's bigger than your show. Does that make sense? Like I think he thinks that. Like I think he thinks like it's I call in, I deserve this, they don't deserve it. You know what I mean? Like he's territorial. Like and I've been sending messages in directly to him, like through the super chat. Like, Bob, 15 minutes, angry, 1,000 emotions, a million insults, 0 references of your channel. What's his biggest anger point? That his channel got taken away and he's not monetized. Yeah. And we tell him constantly, Addy, Clancy, all of us, when you go on Jake's show and there's 1,500 people watching, don't be mentioning Joe Schmo in the chat from 15 minutes ago who said, what's wrong with Bobby? Go on, be like, hey, Jake, take the, you give 10 minutes of time, whatever the time is, mention, Jake, hey, do you mind asking people if they could go subscribe to the legend Bobby Midnight? Use that time to be productive, to help you get your joy back. So enraged, never even thinks of it.
He's in a weird state right now because I feel like
Vermont.
Definitely a weird state he lives in, and a weird state of mind as well, one could say. Because here's the guy that was a beloved member of the chat, and now his actions, I would say he's a lot closer to the Beast Breaker 50-50. If I run a poll and say, are you pro Beast Breaker? It's 50-50 or 52-48, basically every time. I mean, it's as split as it could be. Bobby Midnight used to be a 90-10. You love him. If I ran a poll right now, I think he's a lot closer to that 50-50 line, which means if he ends up being a 1 seed out of the reputation, tie goes to the Dukes, the Kentuckys, when you're making the seeding, tie might go to the Bobby Midnight. He could be upset early in the tournament. I could see it now, and that will cause a tremendous amount of controversy if Bobby Midnight goes down early.
And here's why it'll happen. Knowing the level of anger and reaction and content you'll get out of the upset with him losing. If he wins, it's not fun. But when he loses, the reaction. Oh, he even said that to me on the phone today. And he's like, I don't even care about the March. I go, all right. Okay. You do, because you're mentioning it in your rage, you're mentioning it. It's like when the Jets lose, and we're like, I don't even care about this stupid team anymore. Bullshit, it's all we care about. So I think that like an upset by whoever, it will be epic. And I think there will be people that will vote against him for the response of the upset and the rage and who the fuck is this guy? And fucking people.
I agree. Now, Nick, I will say this. We've started to put together, the expanded committee to weigh in and kind of go through some of what we had put together. Obviously, we have Boom, Tom Ace, Rich headlining it. Gator's input is being considered as it should be. Sham, who is the architect behind my Discord, is involved. I would love for you to have a voice on the panel with the group if you were interested in weighing in when we get closer.
Absolutely. I've had some discussions with Boom, and when we were talking about the brackets and how they were designed, not the individuals, just the structure of it and all that. But I'm not going to tell you no. Whatever you guys want, Boom and Tom, I talk to you, Boom, Tom, Gator, like every day. So whatever you need, man, I'm in.
Our goal is to create as evenly balanced of a tournament field as possible.
Tom, I'm in. Don't even need to know what it is. I'm in. You probably already did it to me anyway, so I'll take it.
Are you familiar with the term elephant walk?
No.
Yes, we'd love to have you a part of the committee when we get closer. You have great insight into the field and what it will take to be great. And
Tell me more.
we
Go
value
on.
your feedback, Nick Shine.
Hold on. Go ahead. Tell me more.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something. If you didn't like this video right now, you might be a communist. So hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribed to the Nick Shine Show. He does a tremendous job. And if you're interested in Bobby Midnight potentially being upset early and not getting past the round of 32, because I do think we'll get by in round 1. But, I mean, if you're interested in madness, all right, you better be tuned into Asmaniac Madness in March, and Nick Shine's going to be a big part of it.
Yeah. Mad being the key word in that sentence. Madness is definitely.
Could you
Should we
imagine?
change his name to Bobby Midnight to Bobby Madness?
Oh my God! If it's, you know, what's gonna be funny too. It's gonna require a lot of work, but once the seeding does get announced, I'm gonna have to make sure anyone who calls in that we put a number next to them so everyone knows what seed line they're on. It's gonna be nuts.
Yeah, that's big.
We're gonna have a link too, by the way.
Forward to it, man.
Everyone's gonna be able to fill out their own bracket online. We're gonna use one of those like bracket creation sites.
Oh yeah. Oh, awesome. And then you structure it and you do points like the ESPN bracket does, and
exactly.
You do a pool, $10 a person to get in.
Literally, pool. If you win, we'll come up with like I'm gonna buy like a bunch of like Jets memorabilia or whatever the grand prize will be, and then the actual person who wins the tournament will get the best of the best trophy in honor of Keith Best.
Nice.
And it will be like an actual trophy we'll send to the winner that they could call in holding a big ass trophy.
What if Bobby's doing Stone Cold Steve Austin right now, where he's turning heel and the heel wave is just so big that like even if people try to hate him, he can't be stopped. Like he's doing all the heel moves, but the love for Bob just carries him to the championship.
I can't believe Bobby Midnight's become a heel. It's sad. I remember Bobby Midnight when he was just a joyful spirit calling in, and now there's talk of him never calling in again. It's wild where we're at.
If
I mean, he'll call in tomorrow.
You did a show 7:00 in the morning. All right, here's what I need. I need the update from you. How long after you post the link does he click in tomorrow morning?
It'll be so easy to get him on. All I have to do is be like, man, Bobby's boycotting the show. I haven't heard from him. Then I'll call in out of spite to be like, I'm not boycotting the show. That happens every time.
Who the fuck told you that? Oh, I'm Jake. I got all the connections. I know everybody. I know. Here, we could do it right now if you want.
Where's your cash cow?
Yeah.
Then he moved like a cash cow. That was incredible.
There's definitely got to be a video that comes out with that. There's Bobby as a cow grazing out in the field.
Moo.
That would be so good. I have some news. I know I've been very busy the last couple of days. Sunday night, guaranteed. Shiners, which you are, Jake. I will release Super Bowl box pool. We're doing $20 a box in the Discord Sunday afternoon. Shiners will get first crack. We'll go from there. Whoever sends money first gets the box. We'll have them numbered 1 through 100. And then once we fill it, we'll release it on air. Jake, if I don't fill it with my Shiner group, then the Discord group, then we can pass it over to you. Sunday night, I'll have on air.
I'm buying a box. I'm a Shiner, man. I'm in that Discord. I'm in for a box.
Yeah. Hell yeah. So I will have that Sunday, and we'll get that going. And this is not one of those Facebook, we're doing charity. No, 100% of the money in is 100% of the money out. None of this going to help with someone's dance school or anything else. Not that I'm against charity, but don't use people's addiction to gambling to rob them. Damn it. People want to win money.
Cha-ching. As Bobby would say, cash cow.
Boomtown, what kind of poppycock Canadian world do you live in, my friend? No, we don't do the numbers ahead of time. There will be a random draw of the numbers after it is filled.
That makes sense.
Semantics, Rob. Complete semantics. Of course, the money would be paid.
I've never won a Super Bowl squares. I've been in every year since I've watched football. Basically, I have never won, so I'm just throwing away money every year.
I have a horror story about the time I won. I won one at Optimum when I was a cable guy. I hit the final score.
Wait, you were a cable guy?
I worked for Cablevision. I worked for the Dolans for 14 years.
Really?
Yeah.
They could use you back right now. My parents can't watch the Knicks. They're very upset.
Oh yeah, that was
Beningo went off on Optimum today on the show.
Did he?
He did, yeah.
Nice.
I didn't know you were a cable guy though. Nick the cable guy. No.
Yeah, out of Optimum, out of Piscataway, New Jersey.
Were you installing cable? Like that was your job?
Yeah.
You were wow.
Yeah, troubleshooting, trouble calls, installations. Started off residential, started doing business, and then I was 115 pounds heavier than I am now, and my back just couldn't do it anymore. Like crawling into crawl spaces, attics, in and out, climbing the ladders at the street. My back couldn't take it anymore.
How do you get into that? Like, what makes you say, like, I want to work for Cablevision? Like, what was the process for
that? My ex-in-laws were getting an install. I was there to help out because I had to carry the TV in because my ex-father-in-law had multiple heart attacks. He couldn't do that stuff. And I was just making conversation with the guy there. And he was like, go stop by and fill out, the application. They have like an open house coming up. So I went to the open house and got it.
Good for you. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. But the guy that I ran it with, I won. And I called him. I was like, hey, can we meet up? And I'm like, I'll come by. I'll stop by the house. He's like, man, I don't feel well. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, if I just stop by, like, you just hand me, the money at the door. I'll come by the crib. Dude had a heart attack that night and passed away.
Jeez.
So that was the one time that I won. Yeah, I never asked his wife, his wife worked for us and worked for HR. But Derek was the best, man. And obviously I never asked for that. But yeah, that was wild.
That's horrible.
Rest
Jesus.
in peace, Derek, man. Yeah, there are some big boxes out there. Pause, no Diddy. That's what she said. But what you doing a show Sunday?
If I do, it will be in the morning because I'm on the radio 4 to 8.
All right. I know you've asked. I'm doing basketball on Saturdays. I know we've been trying to connect, but Sunday I'm good in the morning. If you want to connect and we'll do like a preview. We'll do a championship day preview.
I like that. I think they're gonna hire the GM tomorrow in the latest Saturday, and then they're gonna do it. Glenn's pressure is Monday, so I'd be shocked if they don't have a GM by Monday. So I'm kind of just waiting to see what happens with that to figure out when I'm going live. But definitely, if they hire, like I'm most likely doing a show Sunday, so I'll text you.
Perfect. Yeah, let's do. I felt bad. You've asked me a couple of Saturdays. I'm like, this is when basketball hits. Nick does the scoreboard, and I'm the site manager, so we're there Saturday mornings.
Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out. I appreciate you coming on. It's always fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. We'll have a good time. We'll be angry together about the not being in the playoffs, and then we'll definitely have a Bobby call. If you don't have one by Sunday, you will definitely have a Bobby call.
He's gonna call in tomorrow. I want everyone watching the Nick Shine.
I start working 11 o'clock, Jake. He'll be clicked in before I even get to fucking work.
But like after being tipped off by this source very close to the situation, I'm going out of my way to Ted you the shit out of my show tomorrow. So get ready. I'm giving everyone the warning. I'm going Ted you on steroids.
Nice. Are you? Oh man, I don't even want to.
I'm actually gonna bring pots and pans and start stirring them on the air tomorrow.
Nice. Well, you're a young single guy in New York. Do you even have pots and pans? Because I think you just DoorDash everything at this point. I'm convinced.
I actually do, but I don't know where they are in my kitchen. I have to look.
They're in a box. You got them as a housewarming present when you were in Houston, and now you brought them back here.
I don't think I've cooked like one thing since I moved in. It's bad. I cooked during COVID. That was the only time I ever actually used my kitchen when I was in Houston. But since I moved to my New York apartment, I don't think I've cooked. I've used the microwave a couple times. That's about it.
Bubba,
It's-
breaking news.
It's not great. And I spent money on the microwave too. The apartment didn't come with one. I'm like, I need a microwave. Come on.
Hell yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Are you a fan of an air fryer?
I am, but I don't own one. But I do really enjoy the air fryer.
Oh man, I couldn't live without my air fryer. Now that I
You-
eat healthier, it's different. But man, I love when
Every
Nikki's
meal
here.
you use it?
Well, I used it for a lot, but now that I eat chicken and vegetables, that's it, man. That's all I'm eating right now is grilled chicken and vegetables. But when Nikki's here, tater tots, seasoned curly fries, Tyson's chicken strips, everything. It's like go throw it in the air fryer.
It's legit, man. I mean, more and more people use the air fryer nowadays too.
It's my favorite thing. It's my favorite thing. I'll use that over the oven. Like here's what you get it for. You get an air fryer for this reason alone. Ask someone who lives in the city. You get pizza a lot. You had one just now.
Yep.
I've bought pizza, not eaten it, waited 45 minutes, reheated in the air fryer, and it's better than the original. I'm telling you, that's how good it is. You get if it's like a soft doughy, throw it in the air fryer, crisp the fuck out of it, and eat it well done and crunchy, and it's so good. It's better.
That's legit. I one day I will buy one. I'm just not there yet.
All right.
It will happen. I believe in myself.
I believe in you.
Eventually.
If I got to get you one, I'll get you one. I'll deliver it.
Can you install some cable for me too, for old time's sake?
Sure. You just want to see my ass crack because I'm down on all fours. I know you're tricked, ass man. I'm on to you.
So what do they call, like, you have like plumber's crack, right? What do they call that for cable people? Cable's crack?
Pleasure. Oh, nice. All right. I gotta go to bed. I'm tired.
Long show for you, Nick. 2.5 hours? Are you Bobby Midnight?
I won't call into your show tomorrow if I am.
My shows have been ridiculously long too, because people. It's nice to have excitement again. Yeah, I mean,
everyone's excited. Like,
yeah, the viewership this month's been back to what it was when August, September, when there was excitement, which is nice. Glenn wasn't my number one, but I'm excited about the possibility of him being good. So it's it's nice that there is a lot more renewed optimism in the fan base again a little bit.
the biggest crowds I've seen you have were the Patriot home opener that night, and then the Houston game that night. People home wins, people are excited.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest crowds I've seen you have. And now, with the coaching, you're the man. Like I said, you're the king, and people go to your show instantly because they know they're going to get all the info that they want. So kudos to you, my brother.
I guess people, enjoy like the content, the opinions, but it's the callers, man. It's the craziness of the show. Like, there's so many great YouTubers, like yourself included. Like, I don't want to name everyone because we'll be here all night, but like, I genuinely believe this fan base is the greatest fan base in the NFL, and it's the callers on the shows that separate like our channels. Like, that's what people enjoy.
Yeah, like we've trolled Dolphins channels, and it was literally 6 dudes on the screen. Nobody had their camera on. It was who did we troll? Finn's tailgate. We went and trolled them heavily earlier in the year, and we were all in there. Johnny, Nate, Jay Quest. Like, I'm giving super chats. Like, it was crazy. Like, to mess with them, but it's like it was the worst thing to watch. Like, the worst Jet show, fill in whatever one you dislike the most, guys in the chat. That was the level of one of their bigger shows. Like, I felt that there was no production. It was horrible discussion. Everyone yelling over one another. It was bad.
I mean, you see it with the Giants too. There's like one good Giants YouTube channel, Talking Giants. They're affiliated with John Boy Media. But there's no Giant content creators, which is crazy because they're supposed to have the larger fan base, and they've won obviously multiple Super Bowls. Like, the Jet fan base is a special breed. It's crazy.
Yeah, and just for the record, I don't think we won a game after that. Like, this was the Thursday night of Buffalo, and I think that was the game Tua got hurt in, and we went in there panicking as Dolphins fans, and Johnny is sitting there saying, we, what are we going to do? Tua's hurt. How are we going to do? But the whole fucking time, his logo, his photo is this logo. And they keep putting his comments up. Like, what are we going to do? Are we going to go? Should we bring Mike White back? What are we going to do? But no one caught on that his YouTube icon photo was the Jet logo. It was tremendous. Jay Quest called in. We, the people, was on there reading super chats and comments from us as a guest, as a Jet fan. Like, it was such a fucking train wreck.
Look, you get Jay Quest
that united us,
dude. Jay Quest, we the people, Johnny, you get that collection of comedian geniuses in a chat. It's game over forever. You're trolling.
It was so good. It was so good. It was such a great night. Johnny was just talking about the night that we trolled Finn's tailgate, and you were crying about the quarterback. Perfect timing, Johnny. And Lowski was there with us too. Welcome, Lowski. Yeah, that was great. We were like, everybody get in there now. And we just all fucking hit it. I went to because I was proud MIJ fan, I went to my Nick Shine account and went in there and was using that. It was great.
I mean, Jay Quest was conceived at Joe Roby Stadium.
Fun fact. Did not know that. Adirondack, when are we doing this? Yeah, you know what? I don't know if I ever want to do it again because we were coming off of our Thursday night win the week before against the Patriots. And then that was the following Thursday night game, I believe. And then everything fell off the rails right after that. So maybe we shouldn't do it ever again.
Those 10 days when the Jets, like, I'm just thinking back to it. Those 10 days when the Jets were 2-1 were 10 of the happiest days of my life. It's sad.
Oh, man. That night, watching Rodgers run around against the Patriots, like, we were skipping out of the stadium. We floated.
It was incredible.
We floated. Yeah. I ran into Gary V that night leaving the stadium.
I remember that. Yeah.
I took the picture with Gary V and I tried. I told you, I'm like, Jake, I tried. I'm like, I fucking threw a Hail Mary, man. He said, he did the cordial. Oh, just shoot me a DM, and never got read. But it was fun. I got the picture. That's all that matters.
There you go. Yeah, man. It's just, I remember I did Joe's podcast the next night. We're like, hey, Rodgers is healthy, bro. We're going to the playoffs. It's a good team. And then they lose that Denver game, and that was it. Just fell apart. Crazy.
Johnny was great. Johnny was tremendous that night. Jets Worldwide. Are there any good Bills YouTubers? Yes, the Buffalo Jet fan is my favorite.
He's my favorite Buffalo YouTuber too.
Yes, he's my favorite Buffalo YouTuber. I'm not sure. I'm not
the guy
sure.
That Richie does the show with
Sunday night.
Kevin Mitchell. Or whatever. Kevin Mitchell's the guy's name, I think.
With Richie?
Yeah, he does the show with Richie, the AFC show.
Nice. Cover 2. Awesome. All right. I'm going to, I got to get to bed. Thank you for calling in. And for those of you that may have missed it, stay tuned to Jake's show tomorrow. And does Bobby Midnight return? Do either one of us get a text in the morning when Bobby wakes up and watches the show to see if he was mentioned? Does he stay the full 2.5 hours? Does somebody text him and tell him go to the end when Jake goes on? Who knows? I'm sure Nate's doing it right now. Bobby, they're talking shit about you. You got to go watch the last half hour of Nick's show. But awesome. Thank you, Jake. And yeah, man, whatever you guys need, whatever input you want, no Diddy. Boom knows we talk all day in the Discord, so I got you, whatever you want. And
can't wait.
You're still in for bowling on the 1st with Hawk?
Yep.
And the Charles Gorman adventures?
Charles Eugene M. Gorman, baby. And we got Dennis Gorman now getting a membership today. That was very exciting.
He just got one earlier this week on this channel too. I think like Monday or Tuesday he got one.
Is that
That's awesome.
is that weed? It's got to be weed doing that, right?
Probably.
Incredible.
Probably. But whoever that we had a membership explosion this week on the show, and 4 Beastbreaker 666 got memberships to the channel. There was 4 different. It was like an orange bee, a blue bee, a purple bee, a brown bee. It was funny.
There's been like 7, man, and like I will say some of the funniest people in the universe tune into YouTube shows because the creativity and trolling, like the guy that came up with a Beastbreaker account today to put Bobby in the hole to try and claim there was division in their alliance. Brilliant. Someone spent $50 to troll. Like, that's incredible.
It's great. Who was the guy that did the Beastbreaker impression? He was in the car.
Yeah, that was Bijan, who did a great job with
Is
that.
it Bijan? Okay.
Yeah.
Up the rankings.
Yep.
That was great. He should never call in as himself again. Like, that's just got to be the thing. Just pop in and argue with Beast as Beast.
Yep, great call. If he does that, he can go on a serious run in March. I completely agree.
Yeah. And it'd be great if he could do other people. Like, just be the impression guy who just starts going off, and that's his little niche, right?
Man,
Hawk, we
honestly,
could do it multiple ways. If depending how many people we have, we could do it there that day. We can now there might be snow. It's saying 1 to 3 inches possibly next Saturday. So we might have to keep an eye on the weather, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, next Saturday. Yeah, it's next Saturday. Damn, it's here already. We'll figure it out. Maybe we do a randomizer. Maybe we split the top 3 bowlers and let them pick, based off of whatever they want. I think we have Peter, Jay Quest, and do we have anyone else bringing their own ball? If you have your own ball, you're a captain. We'll do that way. And we'll pick teams.
Jay Quest is a bowler? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's trying to be. He's committing to it. He just got a new ball, and he's putting some work in.
Love that. Jay Quest is a man of many talents. Good to hear.
But, all right. Get Adirondack, get Goober on versus Beast. I talked to Gator one day, and I was like, "Is that you?" I go, "You better fucking tell me if that's you." He's like, "You know what?" He goes, "I'm honored that everybody thinks I could create that." I'm like, you know what? That's a really great way to look at it. But I'm like, you didn't fucking say no.
Dude, people don't believe me that, like, they think like Beast is a paid actor. Like, I'm just paying this guy to call in. It's amazing.
How did he just popped up one day? Like,
yeah, he popped on one day, and I just let him do his Beastbreaker thing. And then at the end, he's like, "What'd you think?" And I'm like, "Call back anytime, Beast. Love to get you back on." And he took that literally and has called in every day since I said that.
Yeah, he's been walking around the house. He's probably getting kicked out of the house by his parents downstairs. So he goes outside and yells every so often. But it's entertaining, and you're the king for a reason, man. Everyone gravitates to your show, and it's very fun to watch. And it's always interesting to see the people, like you said with WWE, the character development, the character swerves, like the feuds that break out.
I mean, lost in today's show was Gary saying some of the most sexist, misogynist things that's ever been uttered, ever.
And they're like, all right, yeah.
And because it's Gary, he got away with it. People were just like, "What?" He said what? And then no one, like Jake. I went to a woman caller next. I went to Jake Graves, and Jake Graves was just sitting there just laughing. Nobody even wanted to argue with Gary about it.
Yeah, awesome,
insane.
awesome.
But another day in paradise.
Always. All right, sir. We'll talk.
Nick Shine, one of the greats. Nick Shine Show. If you're watching this and haven't subscribed, you might be a communist. Don't be a communist.
Yes. Thank you, buddy.
Farewell, Nick. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you tomorrow. Oh, that was nice. That was unexpected. Always great having Jake pop in unexpectedly. Ladies and gentlemen, Tom Ace, if you look at the bottom of the screen, we've updated the scrolling banner. Wait for it. 69 likes gets the call and link dropped. Tom, that's your rule. That's the Tom Ace rule here on the show now. 69 likes gets the call in drop. And thank you. If you haven't already, hit the like button. 100's the goal every show. And have a good night. Stay updated with all the Jets news with the Jake Asman Show tomorrow morning. And maybe you'll see me and Jake together on Sunday. Enjoy. Good night. God bless.